everyone, and welcome to this 10th episode of the What the Fuck Show. Tonight we're going to be talking about gatekeeping, gatekeepers, and all the shit that goes around with all that stuff. And with us tonight, as always, is my lovely partner Will. Hi, Will.
How's it going? How's everybody doing?
The ever gorgeous Kitty.
Aw, thank you.
Everyone's favorite man of the week, Purple.
Hello.
And everyone's big cuddly grandma, Jenny Morgan.
Oh,
Hey.
cuddly. Oh, okay.
Cuddly,
She
you're
means-
definitely
she means-
cuddly.
She means fat.
I did not mean it like that. I really didn't mean it like that.
She
I'm
would
sorry.
know better than to insult my adopted daughter. Okay?
Yeah, and I am no one. I have no right to call anyone else fat.
And as a gatekeeper, I think you should be nicer to yourself.
So
God.
yeah.
You are way too hard on yourself, Jenny. Like, seriously.
And yes,
Okay,
I am.
we can move on to a
rainbow
different topic
tonight.
now.
I felt like putting some colors on tonight, so soak it in. I wear black every day, so soak it in.
So we've got a few
I
people
like it.
out there in the chat. Oh, we've got Harmonica Man. We've got Robert X, who's already
Kevin
started with
Chaos.
the shilling. Yep. Kevin
Is that
Chaos.
one of those? Is that one of those
KCA Randy?
1970s Houston Astro jerseys?
Jenny, thank you for noticing my bootleg 1970s Nolan Ryan fake jersey that I found at a thrift store. Thank you. They had it for a couple bucks, and I was like, wow, they really don't know what this is. But this is a imitation one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't have the Astros across the chest.
Sure.
So I was excited.
So what you
I
need
love
is
it.
a patch
Both
which
ways
actually
at
says
thrift stores.
Astros, and then you could.
What's that, Purple?
It goes both ways at thrift stores. Sometimes they don't know what they have and you can get it really cheap, and sometimes they think it's something more than it is and the price is ridiculous.
Especially nowadays, because everybody has Google. So some prices are outrageous. You know?
Oh yeah, I've literally seen people in the thrift stores like taking pictures of stuff and checking on their phone to compare it to stuff online.
Oh, I love it when people are selling something and you ask them how much. They say, "Well, go look on Google," or I mean on eBay. And it's like, what people ask for stuff on eBay is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You got to look at these sold for.
And
prices.
you know it's really funny to say that. If you want to talk about gatekeeping, a long time ago I bought the rights to a foreclosed house, and I bought a bunch of comic books. And I mean, I came up on comic books. I went into the house, I found a ton of stuff, and while I was selling them, I found out that you have to go by the price on eBay, and it's really arbitrary. And
Yeah.
people go by that price, and they won't deviate. Up. It's just really weird how eBay has control over pricing. And it's not just comic books, but it's a lot of things. And they control the market.
They're basically a gatekeeper.
They really are. And as someone who sells stuff online and has made money off of it, like they are. And people, they want that eBay price, even if you're not on eBay.
Yeah. But there's the other side of that too, though. If a lot of product's being put out there for a particular price, then you know that you're kind of aware that that's probably going to be close to what the going price for it is. I mean, you don't go for the top people who are asking, $100 more than what the going price is, but you can get a good idea of what the price is by looking across all the different asking prices.
So I have a question for our beautiful panel.
Aww.
I was like outed, blah, blah, blah. I came out almost like 21 years ago. I gatekeep. So my question is, do you guys gatekeep?
Well, don't you think we have to define that first?
Yeah.
And isn't it different for each area that you're gatekeeping in?
Yes, let's discuss that, Jenny. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Will's looking for a fight here. Ding, 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 round one.
I agree with you. Let's define terms.
Oh, a friend of mine's on TV right now. How's that for getting out of it?
Well, the essence of gatekeeping is whether or not you're allowing someone into a group.
Very much
Yes.
so. Because I'll tell you my own personal experience. Like, I feel the in-group, out-group gatekeeping in the atheist community.
Yeah.
Because as an open bi person, I've been called the F word and a homo so many times by people. It's now laughable. And in the atheist community, you know.
Well, I think we do have kind of a militant faction in the atheist community.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
that's kind of setting themselves up as almost a separate group, but there's still a lot of overlap.
And you've also got a lot of the old guard. You know, like
Exactly.
if you go to the people who are staunch followers of the Dawkins, Dennett, Sam Harris, Hitchens, who are staunch back in the day, all of these guys, these are the gods of atheism, and we have to. The ideas that come, some of the things that come out of their mouth. I mean, obviously not Hitchens because he's no longer with us, but it's some of the things that come out of the other three's mouths these days. Those of us who are a bit more aware in the community go, oh, what the fuck?
Well, even with Hitchens, sometimes, you know, they reference back to some of the things he wrote.
But what he wrote was a product of his time. They're dragging things from that time.
Okay, let's not
now.
make this a discussion about atheism. Let's keep it on gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Are you
Generically?
Are you gatekeeping,
Yeah,
are you, Jenny?
Yeah, I am. I'm sick of hearing about atheism, to be honest.
Well, I was trying to transition. One of the whole reason I was trying to transition into gatekeeping with sexuality, because that's one of the reasons I brought it up. Because in the atheist community, we always say we're human beings. So the atheist community is a reflection of society. So I could care less what someone thinks of me. But as an openly bi person, people expect me to be gay. They call me gay because that's about as far as they could go, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of bi cancellation for people who are bi.
And
Where
Yeah,
it's like,
bi
you can't be
erasure.
bi. You
Yeah.
either have to be gay or straight. You cannot like both. Bullshit.
I've literally been on the receiving end of that, where they're like, oh, well, you might have had a fling or done some experimentation. Katy Perry lesbian, lipstick lesbian, the whole, you're not really into women because I predominantly date men. I just am more attracted to women sexually. Like, I fap to women. I have relationships with men, but I feel like I have a better connection emotionally with men than I do with women. It's just been how I've been my entire life. But I've had so many lesbians like over the years that have literally tried to erase my existence and say that, either I'm forcing myself to act more straight, or I'm not actually, interested or attracted to women. And it really irritates me. I'm not gonna lie, it pisses me off. It's like, I don't go around, saying, oh, well, you just haven't met the right guy yet, that's why, you're with women. Like, why the fuck would you say something like that to me?
I also get from because I know a lot of gay men, and they'll always say, oh, I used to be like you. Oh, don't worry, you'll come around. I used to be just like you, It's been a while, my age is creeping up.
Which is the same attitude where straight guys think they can cure lesbians.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
I haven't
exactly
heard
the
it
same
for a
thing.
while, but I used to get a lot of gay guys telling me that, bi's not really a thing, you're just gay and can't admit it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I've been doing this for 40 years now. If I was going to choose one or the other, I would have done it by now.
I think in the same way, I don't get why people don't understand this. Like, if you know especially if you're a gay guy saying to somebody who's bi that no, you're just gay, it just seems ridiculous. Because hang on, you know your sexuality. Why do you think that somebody else can't know theirs?
Absolutely.
It is a ridiculous position to have. Why can't you possibly perceive that people would like both?
I think it's also, you know what? I say this a lot, but it goes back to insecurities.
Hi, Kevin.
Because I know people that were full patched up members of a certain motorcycle club, and they were bi as hell. And they still call me every 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is that particular person, they hide who they are, and they would easily say some homophobic stuff if it made their friends feel more comfortable, you know? How's it going, Kevin?
I'm good. I might be having lag, so if so, I'll jump back out for somebody else. But
No, you sound good.
No, that's fine. You sound fine.
okay.
I like what you said about the evils of centerism.
Yeah, that was kind of referencing Sam Harris there, and those guys. So
Yeah. The problem with Sam Harris is that he like went full eugenics, you know. They've lost their mind, you know. And Richard Dawkins has become officially the old man who tells people to get off his front lawn. So he's gone crazy. He is. If you read his tweets, he's just a crazy, angry old man that people don't pay attention to him anymore.
Yeah.
You know. But back on to erasure, because Kitty and I are solving the world's problems right now, as we are.
Hey, what about us gens and
No, I know. I'm just.
Gatekeeping exists in almost any facet of life. If you're in any kind of social group, there's a certain amount of gatekeeping that goes on with it. If you're in a professional group, there's gatekeeping that goes on. If you're in a hangout with your buddies in high school, there's gatekeeping that's going on. Yeah. It's just a human dynamic that occurs all the time. But I think what people are bitching about is when you have organized, authoritative gatekeeping the other word for it would be regulation. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the question gets into who's allowed to make the regulations.
Absolutely. Like if it comes from the church, then, you know, like I used to always say that religion is prison. It's prison without walls, you know, because you have all these rules. You have to adhere to all these special little things. Don't eat fish on Fridays, you know. So that's gatekeeping, because you do these weird rituals because someone 1,000 years ago did it, you know.
Yeah.
Just like at church, when I never got the Catholic aerobics when you were kneeling.
Does that infer that all rules are gatekeeping?
I think in life you have to take things case by case. You can't say all is any of anything.
Okay, fine, but we're still going to. Are all laws just gatekeeping?
Yeah. Yes. Because especially if they're based on the Abrahamic laws. I think it's time that we revamp everything. Yes. I think it's time that we revise every law. We start, you know, getting rid of our senators, and, you know, I think it's time we review everything. So yes.
I mean, in a way, we have like societal gatekeepers, insofar as like we have our laws, and then when you break them, we remove you from society, and then we determine how long you are going to be kept from the rest of society, you know, sometimes unfairly, because I think that, you know, punishment should fit the crime. There's a lot of cases where the punishment far outweighs the crime. But yeah, I can see the argument being made that, you know, all rules and regulations are a form of gatekeeping. It's just, you know, I'm okay with a little bit of gatekeeping for like the greater good, but it's when it gets too far, when it goes too far. Like,
well, I think we'd all be in favor of the gatekeeping of no murder, no murdering,
yeah,
and no beating some crap out of somebody, and no robbery, and no rape, and you know, but is you could only use green paint as your trim color on your house.
Now you're describing.
Yeah, homeowners associations suck ass. Fuck them.
So awful.
Well, they're out there. That's a gatekeeping.
So
Yeah.
I owned a home in a neighborhood that had a homeowners association. They would mail me pictures of me on my patio because they didn't like my patio furniture. They were insane.
A friend of mine got fined
That's
$300
ridiculous.
for
Yeah,
changing
we
his front door.
had to like opt out of the homeowners association. It was a big deal.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. What were you saying, Perps?
A friend of mine got fined $300 for changing his front door because the homeowners association objected to the fact that he had a different style front door. They wanted all the doors on the block to be the same.
Yep.
Like, it's so stupid. All right, now here's a question for the gens. What are your thoughts and feelings on the gatekeeping of gender reassignment, at least insofar as needing to go through, a counseling evaluation before they'll allow it?
Jenny and I are going to pretty much mostly agree on this.
Contemporary or historical?
Contemporary.
Well, I'm not as familiar with what it is currently. There's a definite movement in the transgender treatment community for autonomy, that people get to make their own decisions, and we as a program are here to help facilitate that decision that you've made, not to control it or to make it for you. Whereas historically, they did make the decision for you, and if you didn't meet point by point by point for who and what you are, you don't get to have surgery or whatever your goal was.
Yeah, pretty much whether you got through to have surgery or how your transition went was guided by the medical fraternity that you were part of. So the GPs and the psychiatrists and the others who are guiding your transition made the decisions on your behalf, which is more or less how they used to do it. That was fine if you were the kind of person who fitted the molds that they wanted, but for other people, especially if they were non-binary, or even if they weren't non-binary, you've got trans women who transition who can be still a bit more masculine, but they're still trans women. They can be a bit tomboyish, but they're still women. And but some of those people, some of the gatekeepers will go, no, you're not feminine enough. You're not getting through. We're not going to give you permission to have surgery, which was just fucking ridiculous. However, the other side of that is,
although let's take that a step further and explain why that existed. The feeling the programmatic feeling for that particular is that if you look too much like a man, you're going to have a very difficult life, and we can't allow that. And so that we're going to protect you from yourself. Is what they're trying to say. Right or wrong, that's what they were trying to do, is to protect you from yourself.
Yeah, they had this idealized position of what a woman had to be, and if you didn't fit that, you didn't get through. But if
you look like a man and you're having that dysphoria, being kept out of that, is just further damaging.
That's exactly correct.
It was, and they really just. They didn't care, and of course the way they policed it back then was also ridiculous. Like you would have to socially transition for 1 to 2 years before they would even. And this is still a problem in the UK. It's not so bad in the US and Australia and New Zealand, where you can get to doctors who will give you prescriptions earlier, but where you have to socially transition. Prove to the doctors that you are serious about this before they'll even consider giving you any help. So you don't get hormones, you don't get any of the other things that can help you, but you're shoved directly onto the frying pan where you're going to get all the negative impacts. And then if you come back complaining about the shit that's happening in your life because of those negative impacts, that counts against you for being able to get the hormones later on, because they go, oh no, you're just mentally unstable. which was how they used to kind of do things. So those of us who got through and it would have been even worse, I suspect, for Jenny than it was for me. Those of us who got through had to be very strong to get through it to a certain extent. Wouldn't you agree, Jen?
Well, you have to be willing to kiss ass. You had to be able to lie. You had to be able to act. You basically had to convince them that
you were exactly what they wanted.
Legitimate. Exactly. And that's why for a long time everybody said, "Oh well, look at all these transgender people, well, transsexuals. Okay, let's use the word of the day. Look at all these transsexuals. They all do this and they all do that and they all do this and just blah 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 blah. There must be some dynamic about that.
Yeah,
in vitro or how people are raised."
And they're acting like this caricature of what a man thinks a woman is, because the man who was divining what the caricature had to be to get through was the man who was the psychiatrist or the GP or the endocrinologist, because they defined what it had to be. It wasn't the trans person who made any of that definition.
Although back in the early days, there weren't many individual practitioners who would get involved with this. There were some who would be referred by programs to go to this person for the hormones, go to this person for that, blah blah blah. But for a large part, a lot of things were done or people accomplished transition by going to a university or a large hospital system that had a department that would work with you. Largely, they were out of endocrinology. Some actually had a program in human sexuality, like Minnesota used to, but it wasn't individual practitioners. It was a program that had its expectations, and the physicians and people would fall in line with that. The independent practitioners that would get involved with it did tend to be a lot more liberal. For example, I got my hormones within 4 months after starting my psychotherapy, because I worked with a woman out of Rush Presbyterian Hospital in Chicago.
I bet you, Jen. I got my hormones within a month, but I was personal friends with my GP, referring GP.
Yeah, and you also
but it's about who you know, not what you know. Sorry? What was that, Jen? I missed that.
I'm glad I didn't have to go through all that.
I also had other issues. Yes, okay.
So not only did trans men and women have to deal with this, but then they also had, pop culture essentially demonizing them. I mean,
oh yes,
and that goes back farther, way far. Like,
that's a damn good
Psycho.
point.
I mean, look at Psycho. Norman Bates, like dressing up like his mother, or then there were two other ones that were really prominent. Silence of the Lambs with Buffalo Bill.
That was dreadful.
I forgot.
And
about that.
there was one
That's
other
a
one where
good point.
it was a trans woman that was also a killer, like a serial killer.
Oh,
I forget who he had in it, but I can't remember the name of the film. But I was literally just watching a breakdown on trans representation in the horror genre, specifically, or thriller, like in media in general. And some of the worst offenders, one, was Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, and the last one, I cannot remember it for the life of me.
Shit, I know what the movie is you're talking about. Dressed to Kill, yes.
I'm thinking of comedy. Get these cartoon caricatures in comedy that makes trans people look crazy and stupid all the time. And I mean, there's lovable characters here and there, but it just downplays the comedic aspect in a lot of movies. Just downplays the intelligence.
Well, would you say, Randy, would you say on that point that they use the trans element as an element of humor itself, and therefore lend to lazy jokes being written for the comedic moment because it's bullshit in the beginning?
Yes.
Well, yes, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, because, heck, just well, still, but even in the 80s and 90s, there was such a transphobic, homophobic view in the general public. It's like, okay, so, well, like that famous actor with a really rough voice that played in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Robin
It was
Williams.
like Mrs. Doubtfire's brother or something like that. Of course, he had to be a hairdresser.
Firestein.
One, yeah.
Harvey
And,
Firestein.
Yes.
Harvey.
Just
And
sillier
even
than fuck.
even
And
in
he
the
couldn't-
birdcage.
And he couldn't have a great big job. He had to be a damn hairdresser. He couldn't be a CEO or nothing.
You know, but
he had to
and I'm
be
like,
the
come
stereotypical gay man, did he not? Right?
Yeah.
But also in the movie,
Yeah.
The Birdcage, it's the same stereotype, where they have to be performing, they have to be, the stereotypical gay men. They can't just be people living their lives.
So, I think gatekeeping in that form is caste typing.
Gatekeeping in that
I have
form
friends who
is-
make movies.
is-
I know about these things.
gatekeeping in that format
It's
is
well
the most
said.
destructive thing that you can ever do with gatekeeping, because it's just not affecting the individual trying to go through a program, but it's telling everybody around them the message of this is what this should be, not anything else, and that our gate is the only one to pay attention to.
But it also breaks down to, like, I've heard people in my neighborhood I literally heard one adult tell another, we don't do that around here. They were referring to leaving trash out on the street for someone to pick it up, but we really don't. But I kind of thought it was out of place, because they walked up to somebody else on their own property and kind of checked them, like, hey, we don't do that. But they were gatekeeping because my neighborhood is spotless. My neighborhood's clean, So is that a good thing or is it a bad thing?
I honestly don't like the whole idea of an HOA. Like, I am about as lefty as they come, but I'm also a libertarian. So, like, I'm a strong social safety net. There should be a bare bones below which no one should fall, take care of everybody, but also allow them to do whatever the fuck they want with their own body, because I believe in personal autonomy.
I
So it's
agree.
like,
So
you want to do drugs, go for it. Like,
So
as
you're
long
the
as you're not
I-
getting behind the wheel of a car.
You're the ideal Canadian that we all wish to be.
Yeah, no, it's like, you want an abortion? Cool. Safe. Make sure that they're safe and easily accessible. You want gender confirming surgery? Go for it. Don't care. You want to do drugs? Go for it. Do not care. As long as you are not impacting others and taking away their autonomy and their freedom, I give zero fucks what you do.
There is a thing.
Amen, baby. Amen.
There is
That's
a
my
thing in
problem.
Australia at the moment, and New Zealand did the same thing too, which is called you can do what's called self-affirmation, which means that when you go to the doctor, you just basically sign a waiver agreement saying the doctor now takes no responsibility for anything that you fuck up on yourself, and you're just allowed to transition. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. However, I do think that all trans people who transition should have some counselling, because the process of actually transitioning in modern society is fucking hard, and it's still hard. It was particularly hard for Jenny. It was hard for me, not as hard as it was for Jenny, but it was hard for me. And even now, it is still hard for people who do it. I know somebody who transitioned in the last couple of years who is constantly suicidal because of social interactions, and it's still like that. And they refuse to go and get counselling. And I'm like, go and get some counselling. But I don't need counselling. I know who I am. That's not the point. The counselling isn't just about them. It's not about them gatekeeping now. You're going to get your hormones anyway now and everything. Go get counselling because you need help to deal with the other shit that's going on. And
I'm okay with the idea of mandatory counseling as long as it's not done in a gatekeepy way. As long as you can get what you need, fine. But, like, requiring counseling, honestly, I think mandatory counseling for everybody wouldn't be such a bad idea.
I say that all the time.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of people could use counseling and don't get it. So
Well,
I
as
mean,
long as
I
you
don't
can
see the
find a
issue.
really supportive counselor.
Very
Yeah,
true.
this is true.
That's part of my issue. Monday, I'm going to be driving 75 miles for some psychological testing because that's the closest counselor I could find that my insurance would take that wasn't
Jeez.
religiously affiliated.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
And like,
That's insane.
I mean, trans people have it hard enough, you know, like, and then you got fucking J.K. Rowling. Did you know that she wrote a book
Yes.
under a pseudonym called Troubled Blood about a cisgendered guy that dressed up like a woman and went around killing people?
Yep.
And
It's like-
she also had a trans person actually in one of her book in the previous book to that, who she turned into a predator.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And then the cop who arrested her said, "Well, you haven't had surgery, so we're going to put you in a male prison so you can be raped." That line is in the fucking book.
I'm sorry, you shouldn't be glorified. I don't even care if you're a monster. Like, I'm fine with child molesters getting beat to death in prison, but I don't want them
So
to be
am
raped
I.
in prison. I don't want them to be raped in prison. You know, like, I don't want anyone to be raped ever.
No, they can
Unfortunately,
be.
I heard
they
of
can,
that.
They can be beaten down like the pieces of shit they are. They don't have to be raped. They can be handled like proper fucking assholes, right?
I mean, I will not
think
lose
this
any
is an-
sleep over, you
I
know,
think this
a
is pretty
pedophile.
inappropriate.
I'll agree with that.
I think this is pretty
Damn
inappropriate
right.
discussion.
But anyways, the
Excuse me, I want to say this.
the
This
the
is a
gay
very inappropriate discussion.
No, I completely understand, Jenny. We're trying to progress, but you
Yeah.
kept on jumping in. So let's move on.
Godless, you always have an amazing topic of discussion. I've watched you on a stream many
Thank
times.
you.
Bring me something. Come on. Give me something to dig into, right? You've got this, right? Come on.
yeah.
All right, I'll give you something to dig into. I think gatekeeping is appropriate and should stand in some cases to a limited extent.
Well,
Yes,
There.
I agree. No, I agree
Shall we
because I was
scream
just
and yell about that for a while?
I was about to
Yeah.
go off about how, like, perfect example to bring it to a completely fluffy, non-confrontational subject. In my neighborhood, if someone starts letting their house go, we'll go knock on their door and be like, "Hey, do you need help?" And if they ignore us, we'll mow their lawn and make sure that their
see?
house that they're not messing up our property value. Is that
Do you
gatekeeping?
see? This is why I turned to Godless. This guy is a legend.
Isn't
of
that
a stream.
gatekeeping, though,
He's
because-
amazing.
Isn't that gatekeeping though? Because what if they want their yard to look like a fucking forest?
Okay, as a gatekeeper, as a gatekeeper, they can go ruin their property value in some other neighborhood. Like,
Yeah, so,
I'm gonna gatekeep, and I never.
so
said
you're out the
gatekeep.
front there going,
Probably.
"There's the fucking gate."
Yeah, I'm right.
The rule is really
Now-
whatever
see,
we-
my
whatever we
back-
wanna
I
do in
got-
the backyard.
I have a pretty open yard. You know, I do live in the country, but I'll only mow half of it through most of the summer because I have like a butterfly sanctuary in the back with a whole bunch of wildflowers and bee
Oh, that's awesome.
sanctuary stuff too.
Yeah.
So
I ran into that
You know,
problem.
then I'll get somebody over to help me out or whatever, and it's all the whole lawn and half the woods is gone. What the hell?
I ran into that problem
I
in
just
New
do it
York.
myself now.
I actually had neighbors complaining to the city because there was a patch of the backyard that I wasn't going to mow because milkweed started growing wild there. So I wasn't going to cut the milkweed down until the monarchs had migrated.
Yep.
Oh, we had that huge monarch migration here. It was unreal. A couple years ago, there was like seas of butterfly. Right around the time when pot was legalized, it was awesome just to stand out there and watch all the butterflies fly by.
Yeah, I think didn't you see that from space?
It was so. Did you see it in Northern California?
We didn't get it here, but we saw. I saw like videos. I think that were done like aerial or from space somewhere.
Oh, it was unreal. They blocked out, like they almost blocked out the sun. It was like raining butterflies. It was
Yeah.
unreal.
Nobody's going to be talking that way about the super swarm of cicadas we're going to have this year.
Flamethrower.
Yeah.
Or, for the novice, get an old
They are needed.
aqua net and a lighter.
Yeah.
So do
But
you
you can once they die, you can chop them up in your lawn, and a whole bunch of them will be eaten by squirrels and skunks and everything else. They need the protein, so they just love eating the dead cicadas.
do you
It's weird.
so to the panel, do you feel gatekept in your life? And I'm not talking about, you're not able to drive 90 down the highway or punch that person that ticks you off. I'm talking about in your, in your social life and the things you do. Do you feel? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mel.
Yes.
Oh, yes!
Mel.
Amazing!
Mel.
I was just gonna fucking PM Jen and say, look, I've been having a little conversation with Scientist Mel in the back chat. Could we please invite her onto the show? Oh yeah! Awesome! This is too cool.
Hi, Mel. So good
How's
to
it
see you
going?
again.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so thank you for that warm welcome. I feel super special and completely not worthy of that.
There we go. We can be hoodie.
Oh, our hoodie. It's like, okay,
sister.
so yeah,
Here,
we all
I can
have
play that.
hoodies.
I can play that fucking game. Here. Oh God.
You know,
there we go. Now everything's fucked up.
And one day I'm not in my usual gothic black vest.
That's a shame. I just bought this green one because I thought I would do something different than just, black.
I wear black every day. It's a thing. It's just easier that way.
It kind of is, isn't it?
I go in my closet like this and just grab a shirt. It's amazing.
Black is the best clothing color, just saying, because it goes with everything. You want to wear hot pink?
does.
Cool. Wear black with it. Like, you want to wear turquoise or lavender?
Yellow.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Black goes with it.
That's why
I did hot pink in like 1982, and with the locks and all, I can tell you, it wasn't really my best look.
No,
But
guys,
anyway, you know.
guys were salmon. It was salmon back then, not
Oh,
pink.
Mel, you're right. It actually was. You're not
that's right.
fucking wrong,
Ross
baby.
taught us
That's
the lesson.
amazing.
Oh, you brought me back. That was
I usually
awful.
wear the standard autistic uniform.
Except for salmon
What's
is
that?
gray.
What's that, Perp? What's the standard uniform?
Jeans and a gray shirt.
Oh, black shirt, but that's my autism, so yeah.
Well, no, but actually, I was in a support group for adults with autism, and the therapist was just mentioning this about that it was a common thing to kind of dress down and in dull neutral tones, and it's like 7 of the 9 people in the room were wearing jeans and a gray shirt.
So if we're showing how pink and black look good together, here's some fabric I'm making into something for my sister.
Ooh,
Oh, that is
yeah.
freaking gorgeous.
And it's stretchy.
That's
You
Oh,
realize
wow,
if Will
that's
and I were visiting you,
cool.
Kitty, you would lose that. It would disappear. You'd never.
I bet it looks nice
That
under a
cloth
black light.
is way
Just
too
like
sexy for me.
I was just gonna say, I wish I had a body to make
And the
that
inside
look
is
good,
really
baby.
soft. And the outside's a little coarse, and it's heavy but not thick. So like it's got some weight to it, but it's not
I like it.
super
That's
duper
gorgeous.
heavy.
how are you,
It's nice.
Kitty? I haven't seen you in like 9,000 years.
It hasn't been that long.
It feels like it though, because the Rona.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
the Rona
just took
does make
this
every
into
day
the
feel
realms
like a
of
decade.
archaeology. That was cool.
Yeah, Corona Apocalypse has
Yeah, I
been
was
a
just
bitch.
going to ask how Osiris is doing.
Yeah.
So Mel, do you feel that people try to gatekeep you? Or
Oh
do
my
you,
God. Are
do
you
you
kidding?
please enlighten us?
Okay, so I went back to school in 2009 to finish my first degree as an adult, and I did research for a particular professor for a year, undergrad research. And all I wanted was a recommendation letter because I wanted to continue my education in grad school for a doctorate in biology. And he looked at me and he said, "Science is hard and you're a girl. You should be a teacher."
Yikes.
Fuck yeah.
This was 2011. This wasn't like Mad Men era.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So I looked at him and I'm like, what? And he would not write me a letter of recommendation unless I promised to teach high school biology. So I completely understand the
Holy
gatekeeping thing. So I went and became a high school biology teacher for a little while. I got a master's of arts in teaching and science education. I got a second major in biochemistry, and then I got accepted into a graduate program for chemistry, which was not my jam, but I made it my jam because that was an opportunity, a window that was opened for me. And so now I'm a budding college professor at a college where I like help marginalized groups come out of poverty with education.
Wow.
So
really?
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
I enjoy my work, and they're just now getting into like remote talks. So Doc Savage has come out and talked at my college twice. I'm now connecting with other people that have done work with. Peasy Myers is probably going to talk at my college now.
Awesome.
Him and Dr. Graham Lau, and then there's Dr. Seth Truger, who's been featured on CNN, who's agreed to do a talk at the college. And this college is like 70% of our students are poverty line.
Okay.
So they don't have access to experts. And so most of what we do is just straight up Q&A sessions. They come up with questions, and then these experts sit here and just like, you know what, I'm going to answer your questions for you. And so since there's such a resistance to like the COVID vaccine and things like that, it's really important for my community to be able to have access to experts. And so like Dr. Graham Lau is going to be really cool because he is a cosmobiologist to where he looks for life on other planets. So the Mars rover thing, that's his jam.
Yeah.
So it's a really exciting time for me in my career. So
Mel, I'll give you my equal of that. Last week on our pub chat show, we had Professor Dave Explains join us.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was so, like, it was the second time he's been on our channel. And, you know, like, it's Professor Dave, man. In the background, we are geeking out like motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
You guys geek out all the time, though, to be honest.
Oh,
Dan.
we do.
You do.
I mean, come on. You know, we love this stuff as it is. But to have Professor Dave just show up on your channel and go, yeah, you know, cool, let's hang out. I mean, come on. How fucking cool is that, man? I still haven't even got over it, you know. I don't think there's enough pot in Colorado to calm me down. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yep. I know what you mean. If you dig back far enough, Aaron Raw popped into one of my chats.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Those are those moments, Purple, where you just go, yeah. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
I loved it. Aaron was on my channel once when I was doing Oral Audacity with Doc. He popped on, and it was just really, he's a really great guy. He's really nice and down to earth.
Aaron is super sweet.
You're somebody, Mel, we've got to get over on the shills for some shows, you know? And I know you were saying in the chat, oh, but blah, blah, and blah, blah. You can't understand how much I don't give a fuck, you know? You just, you can't understand how much I don't give a fuck,
no,
you know?
You know what?
Dick
Hold on,
really
go back
doesn't.
there.
Dick doesn't give a shit about other people's problems. If it's somebody else's fucking drama, it's like, fuck off, that's your drama, this is my shit, I only care about my own drama.
I've been getting trolled. I've been getting trolled hard lately, and I just figure it's a bunch of people that think I'm extremely hot. You know,
Dude,
You are.
Godless. Godless, we got to get you over on the shills because we got to show everybody how much nobody gives a fuck. You know?
I just, it's weird. It's been, I've taken a bit of a break from my channel because the Rona, I'm just going to say the Rona.
Yeah.
My job has been super demanding. They're looking at me of possibly taking over undergraduate research at the college, and I'm like,
Oh wow,
this
you're
is
gonna be
another.
so busy.
You want me to do stuff, and they're like, hey, you have all this tech, so you can run all of our remote talks. I'm like, great.
Yeah, I don't need more work.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying
Think
before,
so,
Mel,
huh?
about gatekeeping women,
Mel.
especially in STEM, it is very hard if you're in any of the STEM fields to get ahead because of the gatekeeping that is against women.
Yeah, but
in STEM fields.
Jen, you know what they're doing here is they're going, yeah, but she's cute and she's got a good microphone, so let her fucking do it.
She's got,
I know, but I was talking about what we were talking, what that was on about before, about how it is very hard if you're a woman in any STEM field. It is very much a man's world. It's the same if you're in the IT industry. It's a man's world, and it's gatekept. It's very much a case of, you really shouldn't be in this. It's too hard for you. Please go back and try this other thing.
Jen,
I've
been in IT for like 20 years, and you know how many times I've had somebody who was underneath me, who was better than me, but because they weren't me, they didn't get the job, regardless of sex, age, or whatever. It came down to personality, and I got that, right? So I was going to win. And it's bullshit because they were probably better at it, but I could show up at the site and go, yeah, man, I got you covered. It's no big deal. And they'd all be like, yeah, cool. And that was it, man. You know what I mean? It's bullshit.
I get that too. If you're outgoing and you can talk to people and you can explain stuff for people when you're on site, you are the person that's going to be sent to the site more often than not if you're doing IT repair work. Even if somebody might do the job quicker. I was often, because I could always talk to people, I was often sent along with whoever else was the main tech who understood it better than me because they could never explain it to somebody else. So it was like, we'd work together on a job, and then it'd be my job to talk to the client because most of those people just did not know how to talk to clients, and it was like you had to be able to do it. But it was very much that they knew that this other person was a person that they looked to this other person. Like I'd go and explain it, and then they'd go and ask questions to the guy who was with me. It was like I may as well not have been there to a certain extent, and it was just ridiculous. And it was, I mean, it's sexism. But it's also a form of gatekeeping because it's like
it is. It's big gatekeeping.
You're just
the
pretty face.
Gatekeeping.
You're just the pretty face we're sending along because you can be nice and sweet to the customer, and you can talk down to a level where they can hopefully understand, or at least even if they didn't understand me, I could talk about it nice and use nice examples and they go, oh, that's interesting, yay, and then they pat you on the head and then go and talk to the guy who I was working with. Even if I was the lead person on the job at the time, they would go and do that. I've had people when I was working in the service center at a big which also had a shop front. I would have people come in and ask, and if there were not enough people out the front of the shop, sometimes us from the tech department we'd go out and we'd help with the front. And I'd have people come in, ask questions at the front. I say, oh yeah, I can help you with that. They go, no, I want to speak to one of the tech guys out the back. And I go, I am a tech. And they go, no, I want to speak to one of the guys. Go get me one of the guys. And I've had it on more than one occasions where I've walked out the back, got one of the guys and said, there's a person out the front, and they weren't listening. They've walked out the front, started talking to the guys and go, I'm going to have to go and get Jen for you because she's the only one here who knows anything about that. And then they'd have to come back and get me, and I'd walk back out the front. And they'd go, I actually had one guy bring me some flowers to apologize for being an ass.
Nice. I love it.
That still happens to me in almost every aspect of my life. I've told the stucco story a million times where the stucco guy came. We were talking, and he's like, "You're awesome. Where's the owner of the house?" And I was like, I am the owner of the house. He thought that I was like the worker at my house or something. You know,
What?
that I couldn't possibly own my house. And it happens all the time.
You're a brown person. God
forbid the guy with brown skin owns his own fucking home.
You can't
Are you
own a
kidding
house. Me? Don't you know that? You are a brown person. You're not allowed to have things.
I looked at him and I was
like, lawn and shrubbery. Great job, man.
Yeah.
The shrubbery. The shrubbery.
It happens at my job too, all the time. At my job, where someone will talk to me on the phone. They'll walk in and they're like, "Can I please talk to Mr. Sewing?" And I'm like, I'm the same guy, you know. The second I open my mouth, I can't hide my voice though. That's the thing. I can't hide my voice. So the second I open my mouth, they're like, "Oh crap, you're the guy I was talking to." You know.
What you say is what you need to do is what we do in this house. We say, "Well, bless your heart. I'm Mr. Sewing." You know, bless your heart is the equivalent of F you.
Yeah.
You know.
Mel's got it. You've got to give them the most subtle fuck off you've ever heard in your life. But, you know, while you were telling that story, I was watching Randy's face there, Harmonica Man, and I thought he was going to explode and literally lift off like the shuttle Columbia there. You know, that was amazing.
You know, I owe Harmonica Man an apology. I just started reading my emails and you sent me one a week ago about being on your channel, so I'm sorry. You know,
I understand you are very much more busier than I am, and during the day, we might have to have, if you get the time to have a topic on shedding mysticism, then we might have to change the schedule of times for it's convenient for you. I don't want you to miss out on anything that you're doing.
Well, I am very sorry that I have not replied to you sooner. It's been ridiculously hectic. So I thank you for your patience and your kindness. So.
Oh my God. It looks like Robert X has gone to religion. He said he's praying for someone.
Okay, so complete non sequitur here. Dick, do you like White Russians? Because I'm getting like the dude vibes, like Big Lebowski from you. I've never actually spoken with you before, but like very much like I could like see you with a White Russian in your hand.
Yeah,
like,
you're totally California.
I slept with a couple.
You're totally California with the sweatshirt and the hair. You'd blend in around here.
Yeah, you know what? It's a funny thing. For me, it's actually I'm a '70s rocker throwback. I toured in bands all through the '90s in rock and roll bands, and you know that's kind of my thing. But that kitty is a really good one. That's a really good one. I will say. The dude, I'm very much into. I like the film and whatnot, but being the mostly single parent of an autistic child and whatnot in real life, I mean, you know, when I'm on streams and whatnot, I kind of play it up and, you know, I play the dick of the Dawson, right? But in reality, I'm a lot more grounded. And I'm mostly a single parent of an autistic child, and I do a lot of homeschooling and stuff. And I really believe as people, we could do a lot better, but as comedians, you know, we left it behind back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
And I really think that comedy should be comedy for the sake of comedy. I really think that, you know, when somebody's accused of saying something that's maybe bad, we should look at context because sometimes they're just making a joke. But on the other times, we've got some real assholes out there that we have to deal with. And I'm not sure where I fit in that mix, but I try to fit the line between those who are educated enough to know that I'm fucking around and the other ones that don't, and, you know, really be a prick to the ones that are wrong. So,
if we're moving from gatekeeping to cancel culture, because it's kind of what we're talking about now.
I'm on the edge of cancel.
One thing I'll say real quick though is like honestly, From what you've just said, I know that you must have incredible patience as the mother of an autistic child. Like patience, tolerance, acceptance, and it is not easy. Like
Kitty,
wouldn't change him, love him to death, but it is not easy.
No, hold on, Dick.
Hold on. Kitty, on our channel, we have a show about autism, and I would love to invite you and your family on to discuss things and whatnot. We're doing season 2 coming up here where we're going to have guests and whatnot. And I would love to have you guys on. So sorry, Godless.
That as well.
Sorry, Godless. Go for it.
No, my son is with me Monday through Friday, and my son has autism as well. And
Will and I literally we get to do like the autism parent thing where you complain a little bit to someone else who gets it, you know?
Yes.
No, it's like
having someone you can complain to about, he just did this or he did that. And it's like, most parents, like if they hear you complain about your kid, they think, oh, you must be a bad parent. It's like, no. Like that is a way of maintaining sanity.
Yes, exactly. It's your 5 minutes to go, holy fuck.
My son will walk in public and go, penis, as loud as he can. I don't react. I don't even.
My son hasn't gotten to that stage yet. My son's only 6, so
my son's 11. My son's 11.
My son is 13, and Amy's son is 14. We're planning the newest episodes of Autism coming up. I want to talk to you both after the show because you have to. Yes.
Awesome. Oh, I got some crazy stories.
This is real big and important to me. We have to do this.
You want to talk about gatekeeping? A long time ago, my son was having a meltdown at a party store over a candy corn because I said no. And I live in the suburbs, so people are bougie. But this woman turns around and she's like, that's why. She's like, autistic kids act like wild animals.
What?
No, I'm not kidding you. I say our because I need a therapist too. My son's therapist was there, and she stood right in between me and that lady because I'm extremely outspoken. I am not scared to curse someone out, and I said, and she's like, I'll curse her out for you, and she tore into her. And said, mind your own effing business. But people say insane things. They don't as much anymore because I give them the ninja death stare. But most people, that was 10 years ago. People are more tolerant now.
Like you would have thought that somebody had literally chopped my son's legs off earlier today with how he screamed bloody murder because his sidewalk chalk broke in half.
Exactly.
Like I literally started to panic when he started screaming, and then it's like, no, his sidewalk chalk just got broken. And
but that's like it's a terribly important thing in the perspective of some individuals. Having been a high school teacher and having to meet the needs of various people, I'm so glad I don't have to teach like public school right now because I don't know that I would do it. So it's just
we've had 3 teachers in the past 2 years. No one, because my son's in special ed. They quit every 6 months.
Well, it's not even the special needs thing. It's the fact that you have a pandemic on top of everything else that's expected from you. So I'm totally cool with meeting the needs of individual learners, but to have that on top of very little pay, top of now we have a virus that could kill you, maybe, but we're not certain. We'll let you get a vaccine down the road because we don't think that you're high risk yet.
Yikes.
And we're going to open the schools.
That blows my mind that we're going to open schools.
I don't teach high school because at the college, it's like when the pandemic hit, we immediately transitioned to online. I had 2 weeks to write an online class, which was fine because they paid me for it and they could use it forever. Well, at least until we change curriculum or whatever. Then they pay me again. So it's okay. So it's like, that's fine. But transitioning to that And then like last fall, we had hybrid classes where we had like small groups to where students could go and do labs. I'm like, yeah, this isn't working. And some people were like, we're really scared we're going to get the Rona. And I'm like, it's understandable. So then we had to transition back to online. But if you came to campus, you had to fill out a form like on your phone about your symptoms. And then you would have to go to this check-in spot. They would look and see that you filled out the form about your symptoms. Then they would check your temperature. Then they would give you a mask and say, you can go to lab now. I mean, but they don't do that for high school kids because, you know, they don't care about kids.
Wow.
And
I mean,
so,
and not just in the schools. Like, I mean, in my state, like I'm in Florida. And we have done abysmal with, you know, coronavirus. Like my sister just tested positive for COVID today.
No shit.
I'm so sorry.
Yes,
Well, she
I'm
works
sorry,
for
Kitty.
Harley Davidson, and they made the employees wear masks, but they didn't make any of the customers. And this was just Bike Week. And Ron DeSantis, the governor, was there at the super spreader event. Like I got pictures on my Twitter that my sister sent me, showing, you know, all these people congregated like next to each other. Nobody's wearing a fucking mask. In fact, on the Facebook post, the one guy that's in there, he's got an autistic son who's really severely autistic. So he's wearing a mask because he doesn't want to get the Rona because he's trying to protect his kid. And people are dragging him in the comments on the Facebook page of who's the idiot wearing the mask. It's like, you're all
Holy
fucking idiots for not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
I hate that. It made me so mad. So out where I live,
Diana Colvin will just give you character.
oh my God. Out
Like,
where
my dad is diabetic and he's got
Yeah.
COPD. Like, fortunately, my niece has been staying with my parents for Bike Week because my sister was worried that this would happen, that she would get COVID. And like right now, she's having trouble breathing. She can't smell or taste anything. She feels like absolute garbage. But she doesn't really have any pre-existing conditions that would, you know, exacerbate, you know, or you know, she doesn't have comorbidities that would exacerbate it. So she should be fine. But she hasn't been able to see her daughter for a week, and now she's going to not be able to see her daughter for 2 weeks more because of a 14-day quarantine, all because idiots wouldn't wear a mask.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Because her family suffers because of somebody else's negligence and ignorance. What the fuck is that?
But this comes
my
back
neighbor-
to the other
employees
side
from
of gatekeeping, because at this point, if we're saying to people, you need to get vaccinated, you need to wear a mask, you need to do this, are we not gatekeeping? And is this does this prove that there are valid forms of gatekeeping?
Yeah.
There are valid forms.
Yeah.
Like I had said with laws that, you know, protect
Well-
the structure of society, and the fact that there are certain laws, don't rape, kill, you know, steal. Like
Wear a fucking
there are
mask.
laws, the basics. Yeah. Like there are basics that you know,
Well,
we need
you know,
we need basic rules for society. And
Yeah.
this would fall under that. I mean,
I
because
agree.
honestly, you could literally make an argument that all of those people, if even one person that was there dies, negligent fucking homicide.
Yep.
Because their negligence led to the death of another individual. It's why I'm very libertarian, but I take a very force people to get vaccines stance, and it's because of that public health thing where it's like,
we need the herd mentality. We need it.
yeah, like I would not pin someone to a chair and force the needle in their arm, because like that I would not do. But I do believe in making it so that you are still kind of forced to do it by doing laws that, okay, if you have a child and you refuse to vaccinate said child, and it's not because they have some pre-existing condition, you know, where they can't be, like, say they're immunocompromised or something. If there's not a legitimate, valid medical reason for them to not be vaccinated, and you refuse to vaccinate your child, and your child gets sick, that's child neglect. You get popped with that charge. If it gets another
California.
kid sick, there's another one. If your child dies, or if they get another kid sick and they die, then negligent homicide, and you go to fucking jail.
So
just
here
like
in
if you had accidentally ran over somebody, you know, in your car. Like you are negligent, and you are leading to the death of another human being through no fault of theirs. So
Here
you
in
should go to jail for it.
California- In California, if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to school. You can't have a job. Like, we have laws here to protect people.
I have a question. How are you doing, Jenny Morgan?
I'm just listening because I have nothing to contribute to any of this.
I haven't seen you in a while, so I just want to know how you're doing.
I'm doing fine. I got my second COVID shot, and so
I'm so jealous.
So I think I'm going to survive.
Vaccine.
And we'll see how it goes.
I have vaccine envy for so many of my friends. I'm like, I want a vaccine. And so some of my students are like, we have like a secret list of people in case we have any cancellations. Wink, wink. I'll call you. And I'm like, okay.
Well, remember it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, I got my COVID, but I got to get it early because I'm dying of other stuff. So
I'm happy that you got your vaccination. And the
Absolutely.
thing is,
Absolutely.
there's a shelf life for once they open it. There's a shelf life, and so out here where I am, some people cancel their appointments, and so they have a secret list at certain locations to where they'll just call people like, hey, so we got some vaccine that's open. Do you want to come get a shot? It's okay. So I'm like, yeah, put me on the list. It's all right.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like gonorrhea back in the day. You get a shot, you clear that shit right up, you move on, everything's good, man.
Yikes.
I'll just mention, because we're talking about politics, we just had an election in my state here in Western Australia, and one of the things that, because my state's been very hard on COVID, but one of the things that's come up is the Labor Party that we have in power here, and they won again this weekend, and I'll get into that as well. One of the things the Labor Party wants to do over here is make vaccinations mandatory. So unless you have a medical reason for not being able to have the vaccine, you are having the vaccination. That there is going to be no choice. There actually was a group of people who started a party called the No Vaccination Party to try and win seats.
Oh my God! You gotta be kidding me!
Yeah, like that's the first fucked up thing. But
well, yeah, but Jen, were they sponsored by YouTube?
I have no idea.
QAnon. It's for QAnon.
But further on from that is that the opposition party is because there's a coalition opposition parties, but the main opposition party, which is the Liberal Party, which is actually not liberal, it's our right wing party, has fought against, because we've had hard border controls even against other states in our state, because we didn't want people to get in and out. We've had really strong international border codes, which is why Will can't come here, and we've had, all the when it first happened, mandatory masks, and everybody wore them. You stay at home unless you have to go out to go to the shops or something like that. We had really hard laws. Plus, they were laws, so if you went out, you could be fined $500 or $600 for fucking this up. So wow. it wasn't like you're not going to. Anyway, the opposition party who was against a lot of these measures have now been absolutely decimated at this election. There are 58 lower house seats in our state. They, considering that less than 8 years ago, they were in power. 4 or 5 years ago, they were in power. They now only have 2 seats in the lower house.
Wow.
The third ranked party, which was their coalition partner, has more seats in the lower house than them and will become our secondary party, not the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party, had they not won those 2 seats, would basically have become completely irrelevant in our state. I mean, they more or less have. They've like absolutely destroyed themselves. And not just in the lower house, but in our Senate, which is like the gatekeeping thing for the lower house, so you can't just... Labor has won just so many seats in the upper house that it's just almost impossible. They can basically rubber stamp anything, which is good because they are the left-wing party, so they're social progress and stuff like that. So it's good, and they've protected our state in that sense. They have been rewarded for being a good party that have actually looked out for us. And because of that, we've had the least number of cases in Australia for COVID. and a very low death rate attached to that because we've had low
If only
cases.
the U.S. could, vote for the party that does better for them.
Yeah, so
I've been wondering if
Kitty, as a Canadian, I have little to none confidence in the voter populace to do what's right in our continent because holy fuck, do we get it wrong? Oh my god.
I'll agree with
I mean,
that
it's a
statement.
corporatocracy essentially. Like,
Yeah.
both parties. I mean, one is worse than the other, but they're both bought and paid for by corporations.
Yeah. Either way you go, being a Canadian, we have more than two members to the parties that go for parliament, but we really have two parties that win and one party that kind of does sometimes, and you know what I mean, right? So it's kind of an annoyance more than anything, but the end result is when I am watching YouTube content and I am engaged in the presenters like I am when, I'm watching like any of the people that I like. Like a lot of you are right here, right now. That's why I'm here, right? But as soon as I hear left and right, I tune right out and I fucking can't be bothered because in Canada, we don't do left and right. We don't do one or the other. We have more options. And as such, our parties have to come together a bit more and go, you know what? We actually don't disagree on a lot of shit, only some. And as such, and you get a little bit more honesty in it. And I mean a little bit. And I mean fucking a little bit. You know what I mean? It's tiny. I've seen, eyebrow fucking lash curlers that have thickness that are better than that,
I think the thing where it comes in different, Dick, is like Canada and Australia are a lot alike in this sense.
Very much.
We say we have a right-wing party, but if you were talking about that party in the US, you'd say, that's a centrist party. So you've got a centrist party and a left party.
Whereas the left party is kind of the center party.
Yeah. The right party. For you guys, you've got a right-wing and an almost right-wing party. So it's really...
I would say the Democrats... I would say the Democrats are mostly center on fiscal policy. They are on some fiscal policy they tend to be center right. Yeah. And on like social policy they tend to be like center left. But the Democrats are kind of the centrists. And the fucking Republicans have just gone off the far end of
they're looking over the edge of the fucking abyss, the Republican Party.
I'm not even giving the Democrats centrist anymore. We've got a choice between voting right wing or voting extreme right.
Yeah. Purple, my opinions, right? I mean, we're pretty close, right? But for Kitty and Jen, you two are literally the CW network preaching to the choir in Canada while we're all sitting here going, yeah, we know, but, everybody else will catch up eventually, because I love what Greg Berlanti has done with the CW network. All the superhero shows and whatnot, and my son and I, we live and breathe those shows, right? They are amazing, but they are also socially aware. Now, I will say that maybe Batwoman went a little far for the average user, because we should keep the relative percentages sort of close. And I'm not going to start anything, so don't give me shit. But I was the one that started that this network's kicking ass, and I fucking love it. So don't give me the backlash.
And if we're going to talk about CW and superhero shows, can I just say that Supergirl had one of the best representations of trans women that I've ever seen on the TV show.
Oh, and has anyone seen
Dreamer was awesome, and she was actually played by a trans woman, and brilliant.
And Dreamer was given a proper character, not a fucking side character, but Dreamer stepped in and saved the day and was a pivotal person on the show many times.
And the only time that her being trans came up was when it was actually part of the story. Like, for example, when her sister got upset with her because she's the one who got the power,
Oh,
but
yeah,
the power
yeah,
always...
the origin story part.
The origin story,
yeah,
because her sister
Yeah.
got upset because the power in the family only ever got passed down through the women. And then her older
That's
sister
right,
got
yeah.
pissed off because you're not even... and actually said, you're not even a real woman to her. And pissed her off so much. And Supergirl... That was when Supergirl revealed herself to Sleeper to say, look, I understand where you're from. I understand what rejection is like and feeling different to other people. And I don't care about this. You're a woman to me. You're like a sister to me. And that was just brilliant. And her sister eventually, they made up, and her sister apologized for being an ass. But it was highlighting the point, but it was only part of it because of that concept of it being passed down to women and the older sister being jealous because her younger sister got the power and not her. So it was brilliantly done, and basically throughout the rest of the story, her being trans was not an issue at all. It was mentioned, but it wasn't major. It was never an issue for anyone.
I think one of the most interesting questions
I
I've
missed
ever
out on
been
a lot.
asked. So recently I was asked on the Twitters, because I was posting something about how I've never been afraid of a trans woman, but I'm afraid of cis men. And then somebody posted like, well, what if somebody's pretending to be a woman? And I'm like, well, let me explain some things to you.
Oh!
So I'm like,
Da-da-da.
let me explain some things to you. If a man is
Go,
pretending
girl,
to
go.
be a woman, we know that they're pretending to be a woman because they're not actually a woman and they don't know how to do it. Number one. Number two, if a man is pretending to be a woman for the sole purpose of hurting women, why would they do that? Because of the discrimination that trans women go through. Their job would be involved, their family, their friends. And if they're pretending to be a woman in a woman's space, okay, they're pretending to be a woman in a woman's space regularly, because this would have to be a regular thing. Yeah. It's not like just a one and done situation. This is a regular thing. If you're dealing with a predatory person, they're going to have a pattern. They're going to continue the same behavior. This is what they're going to do. They're going to have to subject themselves to incredible discrimination. They're going to have to subject themselves to that with their job, their family, their friends. And if they're faking it, they're going to be found out.
Yeah.
And then they will be booted from said woman's space.
And they'd still be cis men.
Yes,
and they'd
they're not
still be
trans
cis
women.
men.
So, I mean, your point is still valid because they're still cis men, not trans women.
Men dressing as women going into women bathrooms is not the same as a trans woman. Trans women want to be women. And
women.
They are women. They are. You're correct. I was wrong in saying that, correct. And I apologize.
Because this is the difference between us explaining it and everybody else doing cis-splaining for us.
Exactly. And so I apologize for not saying that.
Hold on.
Yes,
Hold
they
on.
are women.
Hold on. Jenny, never mind. I'm going to be nice. You and I fought 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to be nice. Because as a person of color, I have people explain things to me all the time, acting like I'm brand new and born yesterday. Like, you know, all day long. And because of the melanin and the beauty that you see, people think that I'm 15 years younger than what I am. So people will say, in my day. People will say, back in my day. And I'm like, I'm older than you. There's people that are, back in my day. And I'm like, wow. You know, so there's gatekeeping all over the place.
You can't be more than 23. Come on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
When everyone says the wrong age, I'm just like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I tell people I'm like 60 and they're like, you look great. I'm like, I know, right? I like overshoot. And they're like, I'm like, man, just clean living and exercise.
Yeah.
And there's also like
still-
the generational gatekeeping in that, like our parents' generations, like, the baby boomers, they got everything handed them on a silver platter. And then they fucking support policies that literally pull that ladder up so that nobody else can climb it.
It's not for you.
Wait a minute.
No,
what
that's,
did I get
I've
handed
got
to me on a
mine.
sil-
You can't have yours.
Wait
This
a
thing
minute.
happens all the time.
What did I get handed to me on a silver platter?
Oh,
Okay.
there's gonna be fight.
No, I know a boomer. I know a boomer who has had everything handed to him on a silver platter. And at almost 70 years old, I had to teach her how to pump her own gas and how to pay her own bills and a bunch of other stuff. So it's not every single boomer, but it's a certain generation of people that had to worry for naught. And I know somebody.
It's because,
personally.
and it's basically the policies that were instituted, after World War II that allowed generational wealth to be built up by essentially giving government-backed housing loans to only white people, mind you. And like that's where redlining comes into. They would redline districts, and those would not be allowed to get the housing loans. And so the black families were not allowed those housing loans. And because the best way to build generational wealth is through inherited property, that a combination of that, lower cost for things like higher education. Like higher education was much more affordable for the children of the greatest generation, which would be those, that were the World War II generation. And while there are outliers and there are people that didn't benefit from that, being white, and I mean, honestly, part of it might be because of discrimination because you're a trans woman. I'm not sure. I don't know your entire history, but I know that there are different marginalized groups that do get discriminated against, but a lot more white, cisgendered people were allowed upward mobility, and they're in that boomer generation. And it was because of government programs that were done after World War II that helped a lot of families to go upward, and have that upward mobility. But, people of color were completely left out of that. And there were others, I'm sure, that fell through the cracks as well.
Yep.
But
I'm not going to dispute anything you're saying, but it is a case where a positive stereotype has actually been very detrimental for me. Because I look like a cis white male baby boomer, people have always assumed I've had a lot more privilege than I've ever had in my life. I've been broke my entire life.
And it's not like
In fact, I am so white and I am so wealthy
Yeah.
that when I finally was able to buy a house, not only did I have to sell my car and other things to afford the down payment, but I had to buy the cheapest house I could in one of the lowest income neighborhoods I could find. And then because it was such a low value house, the bank, when they gave me the loan, only 2.5 times the interest rate of everybody else. So that they would make enough money.
Generational wealth doesn't
wait a minute,
count
I'm not-
for
I'm
much
not
when
done.
you're
I'm
the
not-
youngest
I'm not
of
done.
9 kids.
Hold on, I'm not done. And then when I had to get my mandatory house insurance, they would give it to me for 1 year, and after that they said, "No, we're not going to give house insurance anymore in that neighborhood."
Wow.
So being white and all that kind of stuff just really makes it great for a boomer. I mean, we got everything handed to us.
I understand that a lot of different people have different life experiences. I grew up practically in poverty, and right now my student loan is more than my mortgage. And I'll be honest, the majority of that is probably interest because I had to drop out of school when I was younger because of life circumstances. I have a year of flat Fs on my undergraduate transcript because I had to drop out because I've been divorced. I had to move. I had 4 jobs at one time. And so, but that didn't stop me from getting into 2 graduate programs.
There was a period of time
all of that
in the 70s when I was working and I would get a raise the raise would be such that it would be a typical kind of raise that you'd get, nowadays, or the percentage-wise. I would get a raise, and it would go into the tax brackets and stuff like that, and I would end up making less money each paycheck because I got a raise.
God. Okay, so as a grad student, I had a fellowship. I actually applied and I got a fellowship somehow because my undergraduate GPA is like maybe a 2.7 at best. There's a reason why you don't see valedictorians that are science majors. I'm just saying. So when I got into grad school, I couldn't get an NIH fellowship. I couldn't get a National Science Foundation fellowship. I managed to get a local one because I was literally the first person in my family to get into a program like this. And I'm like a first generation fellowship of a graduate program like this. And so I made $15,000 a year.
Wow.
As a grad student. And they were like, but you're getting free tuition. So it's really like you're getting paid, $50,000.
Yeah, but it's not free tuition though, is it? Because you still have your student loans to pay for everything else. So it's not free.
Exactly. I have probably $150,000 in student loans.
Holy fuck.
And to this day, it is legitimately more than the house that I live in. And the interest is almost 9%, which is more than my mortgage percentage. And so when Biden's like, let's cancel student loans, I'm like, yes, please.
Even if they just canceled the interest on student loans, it would make a fucking enormous difference.
No kidding. I can't buy a car. I can't buy anything like that. I got this house before I got into grad school. If I tried to get a house right now, my student loans would be like, she's over the limit. She's over her limit of student. And so it's reported as over the limit because when I went to school a long time ago, when I had to drop out because of life circumstances, that interest compounded was put into my capital. So the majority of my loan is interest.
Yeah.
And so it says that I'm over the limit on all of my credit, whatever.
I'll be right back.
So
I can't get a car, like I can't get a car loan. I can't do anything like that. So I have old cars that I drive. Even though I'm a college professor, I just make enough to survive and get by. And if I were to pay according to the 10-year payment, it would be more than my mortgage.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the biggest issue is the fact that I think, was it back in the 80s or the 90s where due to like lobbying by like Fannie Mae and some others, they made it so that if you declare bankruptcy, your student loans don't go anywhere. Like it's the only debt in this country that you cannot declare bankruptcy to escape. And it was because of lobbying.
You cannot declare bankruptcy on your student loans. It's not allowed. Now, if I die, they go away. So fortunately, they won't.
It doesn't pass on to your family.
Right.
That's awful.
There's a couple of other things too.
I've got to ask the questions about these student loans.
One of them is child support, which...
Because I see the student loans in the US as a form of gatekeeping almost, because it's almost keeping the people who are not affluent out of education, to a sense.
It is.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It is.
Yeah.
Fortunately, where I teach in the state that I'm at, if you go to a community college, you get the first 2 years of your schooling for free.
Oh, that's good.
And I do teach at a community college, but we have reciprocal agreements with prestigious universities across the state. And so people do come to our institution because we're a teaching institution. I don't have to do research to keep my job. So my focus is total investment in my students. And so I don't have to worry about that. But Fortunately, people I think they call it the drive to 55. They want 55% of our state to have a post secondary education. And so a lot of money's funneled into that. So the good news is, if you go to a state sanctioned school where I live, you can get the first 2 years for free, and then you can transfer to a 4-year institution, get your degree. But it still has its challenges. Like, I spend a lot of my time teaching my students how to freaking study chemistry. They don't know because they weren't told how to study chemistry. And that's not something that I'm ashamed of. That's not something I'm upset about. I like being able to help people learn how to learn and pull themselves out of poverty through education. I'm very proud of that. And it's a very fulfilling job. But a lot of people, I have people who spend a lot of their time just freaking delivering pizzas, or they're frontliners that are working in doctor's offices trying to get a nursing degree. Or I have students that are pre-med. I have students that are pharmacology students. It's an extremely diverse group of students, which I absolutely love.
So every person at my local Starbucks has a college degree. You literally just described my Starbucks. Every time I walk in there, I'm like, y'all are way overqualified, but it's the only job they can get out here. You literally
fair enough. Oh my God. When I got an industry job, when I got my second master, it was like that.
Was that harmonica man?
I never finished my degree, but when I was ill, I actually got the forgiveness plan, because of the disability. So, but if I go back to school, that debt instantly picks up again.
Oh,
so it's not a real forgiveness. It's like stay dying or we charge you.
That's crazy.
You know why?
That is
You know why
crazy.
I don't have any student debt? I went to school for 3 years. I didn't take any loans, and that's why I don't have any debt. But I didn't have to take any loans because my tuition was only $350 a semester.
Wow. It's
the
like
University of
$5
Wisconsin.
grand.
Wow.
Average is $5 grand.
yeah,
It's funny.
ridiculously expensive.
But what the point is, the reason it's so bad right now is not only because of the just charlatan nature of the student loans, but the fact that your legislators have allowed higher education to become so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The tuition has become so expensive because the state and the feds do not subsidize their own education programs the way they should.
That's true.
Very, very
It's
true.
it's
Well,
crazy.
most colleges are for-profit colleges these days.
And if you want to know why that happens, you're going to have to go talk to that conservative party, because the liberals, have been trying to get more student funding, but the conservatives don't. So there's your difference between the goddamn fucking parties.
All I have to say is when I got my second master's degree and I started working in industry, the highest paying job I could get was $20 an hour, which was still less than teaching high school. And I was genetically modifying yeast in order to make proteins that were used in diagnostic tools for determining whether or not people had diseases.
Wow.
And my boss had less of an education than I did. So it was extremely problematic and a very toxic environment, to the point that I emailed the CEO of the company with all of the problems that they had with documentation. So I bazookaed my opportunity of ever going back to that job again. But I'm not looking back.
Yeah.
I'm like, woo!
Don't blame you.
How do your
So-
student loans work there, Mel? Because I mean, are they government funded, the student loans, or are they funded by private industry, and that's why
These are government funded. And we actually had a break through a couple of executive orders that were put through. I don't know. I haven't called them for the past batch because we had coverage, I think through this month. I think we had coverage through this month. I need to call and find out if I have to start paying again because of the Rona. I'm like, man, I don't want to pay on this loan anymore. I'm just waiting for Biden to go, let's get rid of $50K. I'm like, that's like a third of my loan, and I'm okay with that.
Because I mean, in Australia, you don't even have to start paying back your student loan until you've got a job that's earning over a certain amount of money a year.
Same with here.
And there's no interest on student loans. The government just funds them, and you just have to pay that money, and you pay it back through paying an extra amount of tax. So you pay a little bit extra tax, and then you slowly pay off your student loan over time. But because there's no interest, you're always paying it off. Which is, I can't imagine why yours isn't the same way. That would make more sense.
But there's different levels. There's so many different levels of student loans in the U.S. So you have the kind that doesn't develop interest while you're in school.
Yeah.
That's usually undergrad. And then you have the kind that develops interest while you're in school. That's usually graduate school. And so the thing that I resent more than anything is that I had to pursue a master's degree in order to teach high school biology, even though I had a degree in high school a degree in biology. Most people, they just need an education degree and pass a test, then they can teach biology. I had an actual degree in what I was teaching, and they still were like, yeah, nah. You got to go and spend like $50K on a master's degree, and we're just going to pay you the same as everybody else. So,
like, the fact that student loans here even accrue interest, and the fact that there are, private loans and federally backed loans, and it's a big, complicated, tangled mess. But I think the biggest issue is the fact that the interest can compound so much that you'll never get out from underwater. Actually, and it's not just student loans, just, like loans in general, like mortgages are another thing where adjustable rate mortgages can get out of hand very quickly. My father was in a motorcycle accident when I was in 8th grade, and it wasn't his fault, but his leg got messed up. And the VA's like, well, we're not paying for that because it's not service related. And he needed surgery. And my mother was disabled. So, like, literally, he was the primary breadwinner for our whole family of 5. And so even though they owned their house, like no mortgage or anything, they had to take out a mortgage to be able to afford to pay the doctor's bills so that my dad could get the surgery that he needed. And it was last minute. All they could get at the time was an adjustable rate mortgage. And eventually they wanted more than double the entirety of the household income each month for the mortgage. And the house that I grew up in when we moved to Florida, we lost that. Like there was my pet cemetery in the backyard for, the family pets that passed away over the years, the parakeets and the cat and everything like that. And that's gone. Like my sister, and me and my dad, we planted these little twigs of Confederate jasmine, and they had taken over the whole trellis in front of the house. So every year when they bloomed, you walk by and it's just boom, right in the face with jasmine and those little white star blossoms.
Oh.
And, that took 10 years for it to grow up to cover up the entire front trellises of the house. The pool that my dad put into the house, the additions that he put on, like literally they owned that house free and clear, and then had to get a mortgage because of our fucked up medical system in this country, and because the VA is very selective on what they want to cover for veterans. So both of those things working against them, and then allowing
capitalism,
predatory rates for mortgages for people that are desperate. It is really shitty. Like, I mean, and it took a long time for my dad to get back into the swing of things, so much so that, like, I was working while I was in high school And, you know, by the time I got to my senior year in high school, I was going to school and working 3 jobs at the same time.
Wow.
Like, I was doing what I could to help, you know, 3 minimum wage jobs. But like, it was a really rough time for my family. And it started with an old couple not paying attention and cutting across 4 lanes of traffic in front of my dad on the motorcycle, you know, so that just led into this whole series of unfortunate events that, you know, led to them losing the house that they bought when they moved down here and owned outright. Like,
oh my God.
It's just really shitty.
I hate everything. I hate so much, so many things.
I cried.
About the
Like, I legit cried when I drove past the house, like before the Rona, and like all the fucking jasmine was gone. The deck that my dad had built out front was gone. And I literally, I got emotional about it, you know?
It's a rare day that I go by my childhood home because but you know, I get it. I grew up across the street from a cotton field.
Mel, are you aware that the majority of bankruptcies in the United States are because of medical debt?
Yes.
Are you aware that out of those bankruptcies because of medical debt, more than 3/4 of those people have medical insurance?
Yeah, I have $150,000 in medical debt because the insurance company weaseled out of paying for my son's birth. Maternity care was covered. He was born, even though he was a planned C-section because of my disability. Like, they knew that I couldn't go through a regular birth, so he was a planned C-section, full term. However, he was not oxygenating properly, and he actually needed to stay in the NICU. But the hospital I had him at didn't have a NICU facility that could keep him alive, so they had to transfer him to a different hospital via ambulance. And the insurance company's like, "Oh, that's a separate stay. We're not paying for it."
Oh my God!
Because my son wasn't on the insurance, I was, but his his hospital stay, had they had the NICU facility at that hospital, I wouldn't have had to pay anything. But because he had to be transferred by ambulance at fucking 3:00 in the morning, while I'm sitting gutted like a fish, not able to be with my child, and my child sent like fucking 100 miles away, you know, and like I could not see my child for 4 days. I could not hold my child until he was a week old, you know, like, for fuck's sake. And then to be saddled with $150,000 of debt that they expect me to pay.
The U.S., the health insurance in the U.S., health insurance in the U.S. is like paying for a discount. That's what you get.
So, like, I couldn't get a car. I couldn't get any loan because of
discount.
That.
Yes.
You pay for a discount. That's health insurance in the U.S.
My son's health insurance, I think, is it's like $6,000 every 90 days or something insane. And they basically, I get charged more because he has autism. Because I need therapists, because I need, you know.
We were talking about this, weren't we? Because we were trying to figure out, like,
what
when we'll eventually is able to come over here. What's it going to cost? Because when you first come over to immigrate, of course, you don't get the government healthcare system just because you're in the country. You have to wait a while till you're a citizen and everything. So there is paid for health insurance for people who come into the country, which covers them for everything, and we'll say $6,000 every 3 months. It's $250 a month for Will to have the same level of private insurance in Australia as he's paying for.
And that's just for my son. That's just for my son. I'm a born asthmatic. I know Kitty loves when I say that. I'm a born asthmatic, so I have to pay more for my health insurance. And when Agent Orange was in the White House, I got dropped because they finally could drop me because, you know, I cost them more money because I get sick. Every time someone coughs on me, I get sick.
I'm everything.
I'm immunocompromised.
World.
You know.
Oh, so dude.
I have
it sounds like you have my immune system because literally, if somebody 3 blocks down the road gets a cold, I fucking got it too.
Oh yeah, I was full Howie Mandel before the pandemic started, so I've been hiding in the house for a year. That's why, like, I've turned my garage into my sewing happy place because I've just been hiding in my house for a week ago. It was my official 365 days that I've been I've been at the house, and I can't because even here in LA, like, we took the first round of the pandemic, I was actually proud of my city. You would go out in the city, it was abandoned. No one came out. And that's 10 million people just in LA County.
I heard you talking this shit back then too, man. I really did.
And then the sheriff said the second round, he's like, I promise I won't enforce this because Trump introduced this BS where people can just make up their own laws now and do whatever they want. So people in power now are like, oh, I don't feel like doing my job anymore. So so the sheriff who's head of LA was like, I'm not going to enforce it. Now every other person in LA is testing for COVID. Our numbers are through the roof here in LA. And it took one man. And it went from everyone wearing masks to now, I say this all the time, we literally have bouncers at grocery stores because people are dummies.
Mel, what was that fucking stupid shit that Trump said? Oh, just drink this goddamn stuff and you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. What was that?
Colloidal silver.
Clorox, inject Clorox and shove, light kills it. So put a flashlight up your butt.
Injecting bleach, taking hydroxychloroquine, which fun fact, that one doctor lady who says that demons steal like your sperm at night, like she was on the hydroxychloroquine.
This is where
I wondered who was doing that.
It's not demons. It's not demons.
I'm gonna shill out my channel now because me and Nervardia did an episode on Dr. Demon's sperm.
I watched it. It was amazing.
It was so funny because she is not okay. There's something wrong with her. And so we talked about it at length and it was uncomfortable. But we got through it.
Didn't it get taken down too?
They tried to take it down because they were like, this is too sexy for YouTube. Because I put together a fake commercial because I do that sometimes with little animojis. I make little fake commercials on my channel with people doing stuff. I have characters. So there was one where she was talking about how she's all about demon sperm. And it was like Lucifer from, the TV show. And if that's who Demon Sperm is, I'm down because he's pretty.
Right.
So
that's another name of a punk band.
I love the way you were paraphrasing the Randy Rainbow song there, Mel, where you put a flashlight up your ass.
Flashlight up your bum.
Yeah, I know. So, I put the link in the chat to the Randy Rainbow song if anybody actually hasn't heard it because it's fucking hilarious.
I love Randy Rainbow. He's got one about the vaccines.
The
new one about Mr. Biden. Bring me a vaccine.
Because I want to get laid. He's like, he wants a vaccine so bad. So
I followed him since the beginning, back when amazing. Trump did not to be braggadocious, and then Randy did the braggadocious song, which was hilarious.
And then what was he?
It was supercalifragilistic, super braggadocious, or extra braggadocious.
He did Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh my goodness! I have loved everything he's done. But I have
Cheeto
taken
Christ,
a bit of a break.
That's what he called him, Cheeto Christ.
Cheeto Christ.
I mean, I stuck with Mango Mussolini for a while.
Holy fuck!
That and Twitler. But then he lost his Twitter account, and I'm like, oh, can't call Twitler anymore.
Oh, no.
Randy Rainbow is amazing. If any of us ever get to have him on as a guest, I would just lose it.
He was going on tour before the Rona. He actually was going on tour, and I thought that was awesome.
When Trump got kicked off, I had that moment of, who am I going to talk shit about now? Who am I utterly going to completely wake up and be like, oh, he said, why did he say that?
You know what? Godless Sewing, I should let you have access to my Twitter account. I'll just let you have access to my social media and you'll have so much content.
People,
Mel, I thought you were going to say conflict, but yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh my God. Just, you
Like I
know,
I say
said, I'm
disconnect.
starting-
Just disconnect and create actual value for this planet.
Oh
Disconnect
yeah,
from bullshit
exactly,
and hatred and
exactly.
just do
No,
something good.
I agree with you because lately I've been getting trolls and I'm like, wow, someone's dedicating their time to me. Like they went out of their way to like, they didn't make their sock account just for me, but they're trashing
Godless.
me. I'm
They were
honored.
jumping in the
Godless.
chat and saying the
Godless,
N-word
hold
and
on.
everything.
Hold on, Jen. Godless, for you to say you get trolls while on a stream with Scientist Mel is somewhat of a joke.
It is, yeah.
Holy God.
No, but I felt honored. I was like, wow, someone went out of their way to troll me.
I'm just gonna start sending my trolls to you, Godless. I'll be like, here, you handle this because I'm tired.
But you know what? Like,
Mel,
Will,
I
give me
love
some
closet
too.
cases.
Mel,
I love
Mel,
closet
I'll
cases.
take a few of those trolls too. Send them my way.
You know
Oh
what, Mel?
yeah.
You know what, Mel? It wouldn't be the first time that I tamed a few closet cases. So you can send all your trolls my way.
What I hate is when people tag me and stuff. Here, talk to Scientist Mel. I'm like, I don't want to talk to them.
What's even worse, Mel, though?
One time,
It's like
I did that to you, and then after I did it, I thought, "Oh, that was fucked up."
I have said consistently on streams
I don't want to talk to this troll. I'm gonna pass him off to Scientist Mel. I'm like, I'm just gonna mute now.
Yeah, poor Mel's like, how dare you do this? Why do I get your cast-offs, right?
You also
So
get
awesome, we won't do it.
you also get that one, Mel, where they tag you in on a discussion. You go, what's your opinion on this? And you go, it's not my field. I don't know anything about that. It's not even something I'm fucking interested in. It's like,
what do you know about ants who form motorcycles that drive?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care.
The number of times I've had people tag me in on biology discussions that you or Navadia have had, and I'm like, I'm not a biologist. I don't know anything. I don't know enough about this. I know bits about the stuff that's important in the discussions that I have. But in general, don't ask me because I don't know. You want to ask me maths questions or computer science questions or even physics because I have a strong interest in physics even though I'm not a physicist. Fine, go for it. But biology, no, don't ask me.
And it's like, I've made it plain. I don't debate creationists. I don't do the debate me bro people.
Yeah.
That's my rule.
And then I get so many people like, well, you're a creationist. Talk to scientists. I'm like, no. I don't want to talk to them.
I don't see a point. I don't see a point in arguing with young creationists, with people that practice apologetics. I don't see a point in arguing because they're stuck in their. They're stuck in their view. I'm willing to change. If someone proves me wrong, I'm like, wow, I learned something new.
Yeah. It's like this. Why would you give somebody a platform for their Dunning-Kruger when you can make fun of it instead?
Absolutely.
That's how I feel. But it's like
science. That's why science is so great. It's because it's self-correcting. I mean, there is no other field where you spend so much time and effort trying to prove yourself wrong to prove yourself right.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'll sit there and people will be like, why don't you do more debates and you should debate this person? So Modern Day Debate used to follow me on Twitter and they followed me like a month or so ago because they kept messaging. They messaged me for a while. You should debate standing for truth. I'm like, but should I? It's like,
debates aren't debates. They're just shit shows. It's not a debate.
I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Why would you stand up and sit there for 2 hours beating somebody over the head with the intelligence stick? You've got better things to do, right?
That's the way. And also, it's so...
Rocks are better. You can at least turn them over.
Exactly. And so the last debate that they asked me to do was with somebody who wanted to say that the patriarchy wasn't real. And so I'm like, okay. What? So send me, I said, okay, I'll do it, but he has to send me all of his sources and I will send him mine and we will have a proper debate. That never happened.
Yeah, I'm sure, Mel, you got so many emails full of nothing that you were overwhelmed and didn't know what to do.
Similar to that, Mel, I got messaged by somebody who wanted me to go on Modern Day Debate and debate a gender critical person. I'm like, why should I want to even go on and give somebody who's a dickhead like that the airtime and the thing that they and maybe even the thing of that they may have a genuine argument against my existence. Fuck off!
Wow.
I'm not gonna argue
that's
with you.
fucking abusive. That's like
So-
saying, "Hey, why don't you go debate rape apologia to a fucking rape victim?"
Yeah,
Fuck
Yeah,
off with that.
exactly.
Jen,
Or argue with race
Jen,
realists, you know.
they were literally setting you up to say, hey, do you actually have the fucking parts to back your shit up? And we're all here sitting, yep. She does.
Oh
So,
my God.
You know,
It's
you don't need
crazy.
No,
their
exactly. So
verification
I'm
to
not
make
going to
your
debate you.
existence. That's bullshit.
I mean, that's
What
like,
the fuck is that?
I'm like, yeah, but that's what it would come down to. That it would all just be the old tropes about, like we were talking about
Well,
before.
show your
invasion in
genitals on
toilets.
camera, Jen.
Yeah,
Show your
that-
genitals.
Someone's
Why
gonna cut that out,
chromosomes?
Mel.
Show your genitals.
Someone's gonna cut
Mel,
that out.
if you look through my videos, I almost did.
Not yet.
I can't wait to see that meme. I can't wait to see that meme.
Look. Randy done cleaned his glasses. He's ready.
Well,
What's between your
You know,
legs, Jen?
I guess
Because
the judge
that's
wants-
what really matters.
what's
Oh,
between
man.
my legs
Between her legs
is Will's
is a fun
pleasure
erogenous
palace.
zone.
Judge
So
wants
what
to
it looks
share
like
wrestling
doesn't
for-
fucking matter.
Yeah.
Exactly, it doesn't matter. There are only
Wait a minute.
There are 3 people in this world who would actually matter what is between my legs, and one's me, one's Will because he's my partner, and the other is my doctor, and nobody else it makes any shit difference to.
I'm fucking dying over here, man.
But for the record, if anybody actually gives a flying fuck, I have a vagina between my legs, so fuck you all.
That's the next meme.
But
That's
do
the
you though?
I saw a
We
video
need
that was
vagina
proved that.
inspectors in all of the bathrooms to make
Oh,
certain
no.
you have one to go to the ladies. I'm
No,
just saying because
could
you
move-
might hurt me, Jen.
You could move to the UK right now.
But
They'd
you-
give you a job sitting in front of a bathroom.
But you
right
only
now.
have to look at an asshole like Posey Parker to know how fucking retarded. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that word, but how fucking horrible these gender critical people are. When she says we should have armed men in the women's toilets to stop trans women getting in the women's
I would
toilet.
be more
I'm like,
scared of
what
the
the
armed
fuck?
men in the toilet.
Yeah, you want
trying
an
to get-
armed
that's
man
also
in
a
the
good
toilet
shot.
to stop this supposed threat from trans women. I'd be worried about the fucking armed men. No, you get those armed men out of my fucking toilet right now.
You guys want to see
I am
something
so
funny?
not
Question-
scared
I got a
of
question
being
for
in the
everybody.
same bathroom as a trans woman that I would be fine with a fucking giant ass communal shower with 150 trans women in there with me. I don't fucking care.
Well, that's a
Like,
good image.
I'm more
Thanks,
worried
Dave.
about the fucking turfs. Like, they scare me more.
Oh wow,
than
yeah,
fucking
they're
trans women.
terrifying.
They're
When you have
worse.
them that are saying, "Oh, I'm a bit worried about
join
this
the army."
teenager who's come in the toilet. Let's pull her dress down and make sure she's got a vagina." Yeah, I mean,
me
we've
tell
had
you.
them say this, and we're like, "That's fucking child abuse. You're sick. You want to
Hold
pass
on.
laws in states in the US where you can examine a teenager's genitalia to make sure that they're allowed
Yes,
to
they
compete in women's sports." Fuck off! But this thing is
Mississippi.
happening.
Freaking Mississippi.
Yes.
The governor just
Oh my
signed a
God.
law saying that trans girls are not allowed to be involved in sports.
And part of
For
The
that is
Alabama
that
law's even
I'm
worse.
like,
The Alabama
what?
law is insane. It is not only is it
That's not funny
felonizing
anymore. What the hell is
not
that?
not only is it felonizing
That's Merca.
healthcare for trans people. If a pharmacist gives hormones or puberty blockers to somebody, that is trans, then they get popped for a felony. If you are a counselor or a teacher and you suspect a child might be trans, you have to report it to the parents.
Yeah.
Or else you could be popped with a felony.
Wow.
I hate everything, and I want to burn the world down.
Right? Giant meteor 2021. Let's just end it.
Well, I'll say this. If you've got a child in school that is exhibiting, instances of trans behavior, I don't see anything wrong with reporting it to the parents, but I do see a lot wrong with basing your actions towards that child on the parents' reactions.
No. I have an issue with reporting it to the parents because it could get them fucking kicked out or killed.
You do not, under any circumstances, divulge that child's identity to anyone.
Even their parents, because so many parents are bigoted.
With the states we're talking about, if it's a religious family...
I'm a parent of a 13-year-old on the autism spectrum, and I'm not sure I can agree with that, because if something's going on, I want to fucking know, man.
But Dick, the difference here is you're a good parent who actually cares about your kid and the outcomes for your kid.
You're goddamn right,
and if your kid came to you and said they were trans, you would support your kid. But we're talking about
100%. I'm not an asshole. Right?
But we're talking about Bible-Belt states in the US, where some of those parents, if they find out their kids are trans, those kids are out on the street or worse.
Doesn't matter if they're 10 years old.
Okay,
there are homeless kids that are fucking 10 years old.
So if we take the argument, or not the argument, because that's not the right word, I'm sorry. If we take the discussion and we base it not on the globe, but geographical locations on the globe, then yes, I do agree every word that has been said.
I live in a place where people. Hold on. I live in a place where people come to be homeless. People come to LA to be homeless.
Yeah,
they come here.
Same with me, dude. Where I live in Canada, we have the same thing. So yes.
So my whole point is, I work with an organization that helps give clothes to people on the streets. You would be surprised how many trans kids are out there now.
Dude,
it's an epidemic. And, and here in LA, we have over 150,000 homeless people on the streets just in LA County. And that's not Orange County. That's not San Diego. That's not the surrounding counties. That's just in LA. So it's unreal. People, a kid will get kicked out of their house and then they move to LA and then they get exploited. It's a cycle.
Dude, when I was a musician touring in bands, I ended up in Long Beach a few times and played some shows and whatnot. I know the areas you're talking about, and I get it. Now, up in my area, if back in the day, especially if you came out as anything other than normal, your life was not going to go well. Right? That
Can we
was
let
not
Jenny
cool.
Morgan make her point? Because she was trying really hard to make a point and she got talked over.
I want to hear what Jenny has to say, because Jenny's amazing.
And purple as well.
Forget it.
Yes.
I'm way past. I'm way past, and I'm about to lose my battery. So.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry.
I want to hear this.
No,
Purple, how are you doing?
You guys went too far past. I've lost track. I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Yeah, well, I think what I was going to say was pretty much, already covered, that if you've got a kid that's trans and the family's evangelical, that telling the parents, could be extremely dangerous to the child.
Yes.
Yeah. But when I jumped in, evangelical was
Let's hear what Jenny has to say. Jenny has words.
Let Jenny say.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Earlier, I think it was Jen who said, or no, it wasn't Jen. I'm sorry. The parents in an evangelical state.
Yeah.
No, it is not parents in an evangelical state. It's parents in a red state.
Okay, that's probably more accurate.
The only states that are proposing these insane pieces of legislation are red states, Republican Party controlled states, conservative controlled states, and there's a difference between the parties. Once again, one party is trying to kill us.
And then their children end up on the streets of LA, Oregon, Vancouver,
Isn't
You
it
know.
funny?
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how this is the same party that's anti-abortion? So we're pro-life until you're fucking born, and then if you don't fit the mold we want, you can fucking die on the street.
That's
No,
sad.
they're pro-birth.
Even if you do fit the mold, they still don't fucking
Pro-birth,
care
not
because they don't want to
pro-life.
give social safety net programs after a child is born. They are pro-birth, not pro-life.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're
I
only
have
that's a
concerned
good
with
call,
baby.
Kitty.
Step out for a minute and
Yeah,
do something with my
they won't
battery.
even give services for the mother to have prenatal services.
No, not even close down there. No, not compared to what we get up here. Not even close.
Yeah.
It's absolutely sickening that,
You
you
ever
know,
get
they
arrested for assault with a friendly weapon?
A friendly weapon. I'm
Never
sorry.
kiss a
It's,
judge.
it's a
Yep.
friendly weapon. It's almost like it's just a flesh wound. It's fine.
well, in the time of Rona,
Only
a kiss
flesh
would be a
wound, I
deadly
can go
weapon.
on.
Yeah, when I hear friendly weapon, I think it's like wine-induced sexuality, right?
It's just a little cute paddle. It's not actually a thing to hurt you with. It's kind of to hurt you, but not really.
No, I just say never date a judge. That's all I gotta
Oh
say.
Never
Never try to date a
God.
judge.
I'm so worried about some of your pasts. Some individuals, I'm like, what has happened to you? I mean, I've had some terrible past experiences too, but was like, it's just a friendly weapon. When I hear that, I'm like, that kind of scares me as a woman.
Did you hear what she said? It's merely a flesh wound. Did anybody hear Monty Python there? Come on.
Oh, she's a huge nerd, so of course she's referencing Monty Python.
How did you
Beef injection.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
I've
you.
had a
Thank
conversation
you.
with you that lasted more than 5 minutes, Mel.
I am a huge nerd. That is true. I am a huge nerd.
There's
That's
nothing
fair.
wrong
Thank
with
you.
being a nerd.
Well,
On
that
the
just
gatekeeping,
endears me to you more. So there you go.
You, me, and Matt, almost a doctor, should do a stream on the science of science fiction.
Ooh, that would be good.
No,
He's so much fun. He's a lot of
It
fun.
would.
He
That is
killed
amazing.
time
I love
travel
that.
for me. He completely killed time travel for me.
I like
feel a bit
Bond
bitter.
cars.
He talked some
Like
sense
Bond
into me.
gadgets.
With our technology, we can't time travel.
No, we can't.
Damn
And
it. Damn it.
we really can't.
Yes, we can. We can
The
go
best-
forwards,
the
but you're
best
not
we
coming
have-
home.
The best we have is possibly sending messages to the future.
Okay,
That's
I've
the
seen.
best we have.
So that's an
No,
episode.
hold
I've
on.
seen that episode. Colonel Carter throws a note through the Stargate. Actually, it's a two-parter. I've seen that in SG
No,
One.
she threw it into
Okay,
the past.
so some of Neil deGrasse Tyson's work was trying to develop a time travel device to where he could send messages to the
Awesome.
future, but you can't go to the past.
Yeah, because of his father, right? That's a
think
wicked
so, yeah.
story.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I love him. I got to meet him. He came to my town and did a
No
talk.
way.
He signed. Yeah, I have a hardcover first edition of Carl Sagan's Cosmos, and I had him sign it for me.
Awesome.
Of all the
No way.
big
Wow.
name
Awesome.
television-based science talk people, he's one of the he's the one I really would love to sit and talk with.
He's a really nice guy, and when I met him, a lot of people don't understand the history when he did the revamped show of Cosmos, and at the time I was teaching high school biology in the Bible Belt, and so I used a lot of the Cosmos episodes to try to engage my students. And so
For sure. Yeah.
when I met him, I was standing there and a lot of people had like his books, like, I want you to sign this book that you wrote and stuff. I'm like, here's Carl Sagan's original hardcover Cosmos book. Would you please sign it for him because he's not with us anymore? And he's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's all he could say. And he actually misspelled channeling. He said channeling Carl Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he put the date down.
Oh wow!
And then I looked at him and I said, would you do me a favor? And he said, yeah, what? I was like, would you please thank Seth MacFarlane from this science communicator in the South, known as Scientist Mel. Would you please thank him for putting his own money in bringing back Cosmos? And he goes, a lot of people don't give him enough credit for that.
That's awesome.
Seth MacFarlane put his own money into putting Cosmos in prime time because he felt like
I actually
America
didn't know
needed
about that until you had brought it up.
I didn't know that
Mel,
at all.
I was going to bring that up if you didn't. Seth MacFarlane himself was somewhat responsible for bringing Cosmos back. That is amazing.
Wow,
isn't it?
that's a nerd fact I don't know. You learn something new every day. Wow.
Okay, nerdgasm.
Yep.
I was so happy. And then the picture that we took was crap. And I'm like, why didn't you just let me take a selfie? You guys suck.
There's no alternative now, Mel. We all have to reach out to Neil deGrasse Tyson and see if we can get him on to talk to those of us who like to talk about science.
I know.
Hey, Jen.
He's
Jen.
a really
so
sweet
awesome.
guy. He's a really
Jen.
nice guy.
Yep.
Did you catch this week on the shills for Pub Chat? We had Professor Dave Explains.
Yes, you said earlier.
Yeah.
I think Dick has had like a few too many to drink.
Are you kidding me? I haven't had enough. We had Professor Dave Explains, and that's how fucking cool it was. Are you kidding me?
Man.
Are you kidding me?
The very best my hometown can come up with is the guy at the feed store knows shit about cows.
Now, I have been pushing for some time that everybody needs to be sending letters to Netflix to get them to produce a show that, Scientist Mel can become the next Bill Nye. And then we can all say that we knew her before
there's
she was
another
famous.
science communicator I would love to
She'll
talk
be
to.
way
Bill
better than
Nye
Bill
would
Nye.
be amazing to talk to.
Oh, goodness. I have, I looked into that. I actually have to have an agent in order for that to be a thing that happens.
Really?
Yes.
I got it.
Hey,
So we can do
How's it going, Jeff?
Mel, the science gal. Yeah, Mel.
They want 50%.
How's it going, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
He's muted. Oh, there he is.
Scummer!
Hey, Jeff.
Sorry,
Oh, bad connection.
That's Robot Scummer. Have you ever done this before? It's called a live show. You have to actually be heard.
Hold on. Okay, I think my internet's kicked back in now.
We can hear you,
There, buddy.
How you doing, Scummer? You still got your beer cutting?
Hold on. I'm going to try and come back in a sec.
Mel, your accent. No,
you hear me
sound
okay
great.
now?
Yeah, we can hear you great. And Mel, your accent is as good as mine.
Oh, fantastic. I have to immerse myself more in the English culture. But when I go to London, sometimes it's like I get so immersed it creeps up on me. It's like, what's you doing, Godless?
Well, no,
I'm gonna get on the tube.
So B, or Jeff.
I'll let B. B's been here a while. She gets to speak first, I think.
And Jenny's back, but I don't actually have a spot to put her lovely face on the thing at the moment. I will sort that.
I actually was going to say something about the whole bathroom thing because
go ahead.
Because I'm not trans, but I have short hair and I wear guys' clothes, and I go into women's bathrooms and I get dirty looks and old ladies gasping like, "Oh, clutch my pearls." And I've actually had them say things to me. Do you know what bathroom this is? So I walked into a warehouse one day, and I was a truck driver, and I walked in the women's restroom, and right behind me was the break room, and there was a couple tables there, and there was two old ladies sitting there, one old black lady, one old white lady. And I walked in. As I walk in, I hear, "That's the ladies' restroom." So I come out, and then they see my face. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I said, "No, it's fine. It's no big deal. I got short hair. I wear guys' clothes. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. I said, the only thing that bothers me is that you think I'm illiterate. I mean, it says women right there, and there's even a little picture. And you guys think I'm illiterate.
No, see, I thought that was just the
Yeah, it's
Kate.
not like
that was
you were
the
doing the shit that I
superheroes
used to do.
restroom.
What's that, Kitty?
I used to go to the. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, I said, I thought that it was meant to be a cape, that it was for the superheroes to use that toilet.
Right, right. That's what it is. It's only for I'm a superhero, so I go in that bathroom.
You're my hero.
I mean, I know which one to go in. I've been doing it since I was, like 5-6 years old by myself, even.
Yeah.
Forever.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it.
When the gender criticals start policing people, and when anybody starts policing people about, which goes back to gatekeeping, which toilet you are or not supposed to go into based on how somebody looks, the majority of the people who are going to be negatively impacted by that are cisgendered, not trans people. Because
I've had that happen too, because from the back people have taken me for a woman, and I turn around and I've got the full beard.
Yeah.
Well, I already told you how to solve that one. How to solve that one, Perps.
Yep.
You know what I do most of the time, honestly, if I'm in a public area, if there's a family bathroom, I just go in there because it has both.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing because we have third bathrooms here in California.
There's nothing wrong with unisex bathrooms, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it'd be cheaper to implement unisex bathrooms if everything was stalls. If you got rid of urinals and you just had all stalls, and each stall was lockable and was private, and then you have a communal hand washing area, and you could even have security cameras in the hand washing area to add extra protection for people.
Jen, if you turned everything into fucking stalls and no urinals, the average woman would
you
not
can have
want
urinals in the stalls.
Yeah, but the average woman would not want to sit on that fucking porcelain bowl because God knows I wouldn't.
Thought of that. Sorry, I hadn't thought of that.
You could have a unisex room full of stalls, and you could have a separate room with just the urinals because guys will use that to get in and out faster.
Having said that, I have been in. I have seen drips of urine on women's toilet seats because of women who don't wipe.
We got the toilet seat covers, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Or hover.
You just pull it out.
You know what? As someone who's had really bad jobs, human beings smell bad.
Yeah, they suck, man. They suck.
If you don't have proper hygiene, you'll stink. Full stop.
Okay.
And
all I have to say,
human beings just smell bad if they don't take care of themselves.
Godless, man, preach to the choir, brother. Preach to the choir.
I think we need to have a discussion about how people treat retail employees.
Oh my God.
You're not wrong there.
I used to work in a formal wear store, and it was men's formal wear. And so
that just ruined the moment, didn't it? But anyway, go ahead.
So you have brides and grooms wanting to find tuxedos, and then they're like, hey, I'm gonna help him try on his pants in the dressing room, and then 30 minutes later
and you're like, I can't put them back on the shelf.
I'm like, these I'm gonna have to just put in the cleaning bag because I heard things and I wasn't certain if they were dinosaur sounds or I'm like, I don't know what, I just don't understand a lot of this.
We need to know T-Rex or Velociraptor, because
it was more like pterodactyl, from Jurassic Park, like the second or third film.
Be here.
So this is
Technically, pterodactyls are not dinosaurs; they're pterosaurs.
But the real question.
Are you
the real question here is mammal or otherwise.
I'm just saying people should not use dressing rooms as sex stalls or urinals.
Speaking as somebody who has had sex in public places, I find that disgusting too.
So I worked like I said earlier, I worked at a Carl's Jr. in Portland, Oregon. 3 people died in the 4 years that I worked there in the bathroom.
Heroin?
Because and it got so bad. It got so bad that we took the doors off the stalls, and we were like, "Hey, if you're in the downtown, you know it's ghetto down here, anyways."
Okay.
People still died.
I have to
People
ask
still
about
died.
Clerks, the Kevin Smith film, because I love him, and I
Okay.
got to
I
spend
love
some
that
time.
film.
All right.
I hung out with him in his living room and everything. It was great.
Whoa!
I know. I have his
No way!
shoes. I have his shoes like
Really?
right here.
Cool.
His shoes are like Melody. I feel were Twitter married Kevin Smith. But anyway, so I have to ask, if people died in your store, and you know that scene with the girlfriend who went in the bathroom, it was like you were so quiet, and I just like sat there and I enjoyed myself. So basically, there was a guy who went into the bathroom of this convenience store with a girly mag. Died on the toilet. Kevin, well, there was like the guy who was the clerk of the store, Dante. His girl, Dante was trying to impress his ex-girlfriend, who showed up and went into the bathroom and had sex with a dead man who had a stiffy. And then she thought that was Dante and not him. Have you had that experience, Godless Sewing? I'm just asking for science, of course.
No, I was so freaked out. I came back with a broom and like poked him with a broom. I was freaked out. I was not coming within. I have a saying, and I'm not kidding. If life's a scary movie, I'm not dying in the first scene. I've seen a million zombie movies. I thought they were playing with me. I thought they were just trying to hide in the bathroom, you know?
Yeah, you don't ever walk up and grab somebody. You're never within arm's reach. Right, no arm's reach.
Nope.
Yeah.
And they, you know, because if there's something, they could be bleeding and they'll grab you. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. Especially, I worked around a lot of people that were on drugs in Portland, and it got crazy. So no, I went full hazmat, full, like I called 911. I was like, we got another stiffy. Not the fun, not even the fun one. Not even the fun kind.
Phrasing.
You were like, you're walking like with Lysol and stuff.
And I'll tell you,
that corpse was never going to get COVID.
The first time, I'll tell you, the first time I walked in, I felt sorry. I felt sorry for the dude. The second time, it was like old business, you know. And the third time, I was like eating my lunch, and I'm like, oh, another one. Let me go, you know.
I have another person who's died on the toilet looking at girly mags.
But you know, the first one, I was like, oh, what a sad life, you know. But people come to the West Coast to hurt themselves. So I'm desensitized. So I'm kind of desensitized.
It's not just
Whenever I
retail.
go to the public restrooms, I make sure everybody hears me when I go in the public restroom singing. I got the whole world in my hand, and then.
Oh, so you're that guy.
You know, aw, it's a small world after all. Just get them every time.
Jesus loves me. This I know.
And that's what the disciples all
public
sang.
Sex in a public place always violates consent, because if nothing else, someone else has to clean up after you, and you didn't ask them about that.
That's actually what I was going to get to. When I
guilt
worked at a movie
Don't
theater.
guilt me. Don't guilt me, Purple.
When I worked at a movie theater, honestly, I could not tell you the number of times that I had to clean up used fucking condoms from the theater.
Oh my god, I have a story for that, Kitty.
And one time somebody flung their used fucking condom to the fucking glass in front of the projector. So I had to climb on the back of a fucking seat and scrape down a used fucking condom and then clean it off so that it didn't leave like a fucking mark when the next movie showed.
I've never been that bored.
Some
people are just plain gross, aren't they? 'Cause I mean, I think I've told this story before on streams of when I was working at one of the IT firms I was working at. A guy brought in a an old big scanner to be repaired. It was probably about $1,200 worth of scanner. It gets brought out the back and it gets plonked on my desk for repair work. And I lift the lid on the scanner, and there's a used condom sitting on top of the glass of the scanner. And I just dropped it down, walked up the back to one of the guys who's working there, go, I am not working on that. He wanders up, lifts up the lid, and has a look, and he goes, puts it down, and goes, I think we're calling the customer to come and pick this back up now.
Oh my gosh. So my sister and I went to see one of the Matrix films at a mall. And my sister's like a huge fundamentalist. And I'm not. And so we're sitting here watching the Matrix film, and there's a couple who's behind us and down the way.
That must be bad.
The lady seemed like a nice person, but you know, she was on her knees and giving the gentleman
a really nice person.
You know, she was praying really hard in his pants. My
She wanted
sister
to feel his salvation all over her face.
That is
So my sister, who's like a huge like Catholic fundamentalist, is like, I'm like, oh my god, and they were like right behind me. And so she's all, I'm just like, just enjoy the film.
That is the friendliest explanation I've ever heard of a BJ ever.
Yeah.
You danced around that.
She was praying she was down on her knees praying in his pants.
It's really hard praying, and
she was praying. If she was praying, why was he the one saying, "Oh God, oh God, oh God"?
They were thinking in this highly spiritual moment during the Matrix film.
Mel, do you think she had a firm grip on doctrine there?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. A firm grip. That's it. That's it.
You know what I always do is when a woman says my name in bed, I say, no, it's okay. Everybody else just calls me God.
It's fine. It's fine. And so we're sitting here, and I'm watching this, and I'm a person of the world, and my sister, you know, who kind of is but isn't,
really
and pretends that the world isn't real, is like going, "Oh my god, I can't believe it!" Like, just watch the film. And so she's like, she's getting a blowjob in the middle of the film.
Just draw her attention to it.
They just get up and move down the aisle a little bit and keep going.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
and he sticks going like this as he walks down the aisle.
I mean, it's like her.
That's dedication. That is dedication. That is.
You're like,
I've
well,
never been that dedicated to a blowjob in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's disgusting, man.
Someone cared.
Okay.
They cared.
Dedication
really
would have
cared.
been if she'd stayed on her knees and just shuffled backwards as he walked down.
You're right. That would have been absolute dedication.
Oh,
right.
And
So it's like my sister's like, oh my god. And then they just move down the aisle a bit, and they keep going, and she's just like, they're still going. I'm like, just
ignore it.
Freaking watch the film. Who cares?
Wow.
I mean, in the end, it's not hurting you. Not really.
I mean, they're really not, and
that was painful. I'm literally fucking dying over here. I've got about 7 molecules of sanity left, and I swear to God, I'm holding on to them for dear life. What the hell are you people doing to me?
Oh, you
know,
ain't seen shit
You
yet,
know,
Dick.
when
I don't have any room to talk.
when I was younger, we
I've done it in some weird places, like on a dock over a highway with a gypsy woman after a show, all that shit.
oh yeah.
So
Bottom of the car beside the freeway.
Do you know in Mexico their legal
Yeah.
drinking age is 16? So when I was a kid, we used to lie to our parents and drive down to Mexico.
Okay, so
I've seen crazy stuff in alleys of Tijuana.
I have
That
to
makes
ask,
sense.
how many of you went full Chris Farley with the guy living on the trailer down by the river?
No, I haven't done
What?
that one, Mel.
You have to go look up that Saturday Night Live sketch. of
Living
Chris
in a van down by the
One of the best
river.
ever.
Oh, I
living in
haven't
a
seen
van
that
down by the river.
ever.
Yeah, I love that shit.
I miss Chris Farley.
Oh,
I
he
mean,
was
honestly-
the best. He
Me
was
too.
so funny, man. He was unbelievable.
Like the strangest, like, you know, place that I did anything. I did give a guy a blowjob at a church once.
Oh wow!
Like we were on our break from being the youth counselors, so like we went in the back room.
I'm gonna counsel you, boy.
That's great.
To be fair, Kitty, to be fair, right, given what we know about churches, you probably weren't the first person to do that in that church.
Yeah.
At least
Probably
mine was
not.
consensual.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty
I knew
sure,
that
Kitty,
was
there were a
coming.
lot of choir boys who'd been there before you.
Yeah. Still, my kind of girl, but please continue.
You know, the most fucked up place I've ever done it is I when I was a truck driver, I was gone for 28
kidding.
days and home for 7 days. And so when I saw my girlfriend, we would like attack each other because we hadn't seen each other in almost a month. So she goes to pick me up. I throw my stuff in the back of her Nissan Pathfinder and I get in the passenger seat and she gets over on top of me and we're fooling around for like an hour. And I swear to God, there was so many. We're right in front of the truck stop, and the door's like right over there, like 6 parking spots away-ish. And people were walking past us, and I swear to God, everyone I saw, the guys were looking at me like, yeah. They thought I was a dude.
But
Oh,
did
if-
they have
If they thought it was 2 women, they would have stopped, or someone
They
would've
were
called
happy
the
for
cops
you.
or
They were
something.
they were happy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was all the women were looking away, and all the guys were like, "Good job,
They
man!"
wanted
You know,
to
like they all
high
thought I was
five.
a dude.
They were
I had a
like,
baseball cap on. It was hilarious.
I
You know that
my
that
most
actually-
public location for having sex was in a Subway restaurant while it was open.
Like a restaurant in the
Damn.
Subway or a Subway sandwich shop.
Subway
Get 'em,
sandwich
girl.
shop.
I have
Oh,
still
okay.
there's
Get
a
'em.
bunch of footlong jokes. There's
oh my goodness.
You know,
I don't know
stand
if
up
I
for
want
long
to.
time.
Good to go.
Me and my ex had sex ever. I don't even know. We could have a whole show about that, Jenny.
No.
If you guys want to,
Oh, yeah.
sometime, I'll tell you all the story. We've had sex
Ooh.
everywhere.
That'd be fun.
Oh, the places we've had sex. That sounds like a show, B.
I, you know, I
Hey,
don't
we
know
could
if I
just do
can
a
participate.
30-minute
in
skit and
that.
call it "Where Has B Had Sex?"
Where's this?
Or we could have one that says where has so and not had sex.
You know, it'll be like green eggs and ham. It's
know,
like,
that
would you
really
do it on a
work out
train? Would
so
you do it in
well
a
if you went with
plane?
The negative and not the positive.
You know,
I have
you
not
guys
joined the
know,
Twilight Club. I
Dr.
haven't done that.
Seuss was a freak. Dr. Seuss
Yeah.
was a freak. He had like
Yeah.
a nude book. He actually
But-
had a kink book. You guys
But
need to
Mel-
look up Dr. Seuss kink book.
Shut the fuck
But
up.
Mel, he was
Was it
my
written
kind
like
of
that?
freak, baby. So
Okay.
he's
What?
A-okay. You know what I mean?
You know, for real. He had he
Yeah.
had an orgy book of drawings
Yeah.
and everything.
Was it
Dr.
like,
Seuss.
"I'll fuck it, I'll suck it"? Oh yes, I will. I mean,
it
was
was
it written like
it was
that?
a bunch of like
Will you
if
do it
can
on a train?
imagine-
Will you do it on a plane?
Dude.
If you can imagine, okay,
I've done it on
like,
a pot and I've done it on a yacht.
Yeah.
I'm
little
sorry, go ahead.
Cindy Lou from Whoville, grown up having an orgy. That's Dr. Seuss sex book.
I need to see this.
So
I
all
need
the
to read
fun
it.
Down in
is,
Hoover were
And a
horny
rape.
that
And the
day.
Grinch is standing by going,
I'm gonna put that in the chat here in just a
In
second.
the early 2000s, there was
I'm gonna-
a traveling exhibit of Dr. Seuss's erotic artwork.
Really?
You know,
I'm gonna-
Jen,
Yeah,
I'm gonna-
it went to
I'm
like
going-
25 cities across the U.S.
I'm going to assume this isn't one of the books that's been like
banned.
Taken out of print then.
Oh, damn it.
They still allow this one in primary schools.
Oh, damn it.
Hey, what a way to bring it round. Yeah.
Okay, now, seriously.
Jen's a little corner. I just want to say, I'm very thankful that you brought me on your show tonight, but I'm appalled at the fucking level of filth that you have on your channel. And I swear, for all that is fucking unholy and for everything that is fucking just dealt right from the fucking bowels of society, like
I feel like there's too much outrage happening right now.
Yeah, there is, and that's what I'm doing on purpose, right?
It's very performative.
You know what's
sad is that it is. I'm doing this. I'm playing the character, but Jen, you brought me into this, and God damn it, you're gonna come on our channel and you're gonna face your own music.
Can you make sure that next time I come on your channel, we don't get the stream banned?
Yeah, well, you know us. We're the kings of fucking demonetization, right? We own that shit, right?
No, you are not. You come on my channel and talk about women's reproductive rights, you get automatically demonetized.
Mel, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a stream that's joint between the channels, and we're gonna see who gets demonetized first, because I guarantee it's us. Yeah,
I have been demonetized so many times for saying depression or gun statistics.
I wear demonetization like a badge of honor. You don't understand.
If you think tonight,
not doing it right.
Hold on. If you think tonight is dirty, you haven't seen anything yet. We're actually reserved tonight.
Yeah, well, I was playing the role though. Godless. I was playing the role.
Dick, you have no idea. I do videos on my channels naked, so.
Yeah, well, Jen, that's just it. I was just playing the role, right? You know what I mean? I was just,
can join Jen's OnlyFans for $5 a month.
I've been threatening to read a biology book.
It would probably raise more money than my fundraiser.
Exactly.
Jen's OnlyFans are $5 a month, and she donates $1 to science education.
What were you gonna say, Jeff?
And for that $5, holy fuck, fellow babies, you got some real pussy coming at you. So serve it up.
Yeah, I have it now stationed. I'm gonna get a cat and say,
I will show myself out now.
What were you gonna say, Jeff?
I was actually going to ask Mel a question. What words was that you get demonetized for? I got depression. What was the other one?
Depression. Anytime I talk about gun statistics or women's reproductive rights.
The video where you talked about trans women.
Trans women, yes. That one too.
I'm not monetized, so I talk about whatever.
Yeah, I'm not monetized, so I don't know if I could be demonetized.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'll tell you this. Who gives a fuck? We are monetized, and like Godless Scummer will tell you, we talk about whatever the fuck we want. It doesn't matter anyway. Fuck them.
That's my plan as well. I don't really care. I mean, it'd be nice if I got monetized, but I don't actually care because I'm more here for the community and for the discussion.
Yeah. We have no illusion about ever making money on YouTube. I am still seriously puzzled that I have people sending money on Patreon. I don't know how that happened. I only set up the page on Patreon so that no one else could use my name on the service.
Purple, we invited you to the team because you're an awesome creator. Jen, that whole, if and or but thing, throw it in their face and do it every fucking chance you get.
Yeah. I am so proud.
Okay, all I heard was butt stuff. Right now.
I am so proud of having a video that's got 55,000 views in amongst the channel where my next highest views is 2,500. It is brilliant.
To be fair, let's not shame butt stuff. Butt stuff is okay if that's what you're into.
Hey,
you know what?
I wasn't shaming. I was just saying.
Butt stuff.
Like
Take it from the cowboy on the truck.
So
Butt
I'm on
stuff.
the stream where we're talking about butt stuff.
Yeah, all this talking about butt stuff, my brain's going, butt stuff in the city.
No, I'm just.
I lost my ass in a poker game.
Was he good with it, though?
I see you driving down the street. I'm thinking,
Oh my god.
butt
Yeah,
stuff.
That boy's got a Burt Reynolds complex.
Butt stuff. That is how we're
Jenny's just looking at
how
everybody
we're
like, man, you guys are nuts.
Well,
Hey,
I'm gonna go, everybody. I love you all.
Thank you, B. Thank you for
Mel, it was nice to talk
Bye,
to
B.
Great
you.
talking to you.
Dick, nice talking to you. Everybody else I've talked to 500 times. You know I love you. And
Be
you guys all
cool,
take care.
be here.
I love you too.
All right.
Thanks,
Good
Katie.
So,
That's that is
Randy,
a cool
did you see
cat,
in the
man. I
side
like
chat
that
he's
guy.
cursed Kevin now?
I heard lots of words just now.
Sorry, what?
Sorry.
I just wanted to point
Go
out
ahead,
to
Purple.
Randy that in the side chat he's cursed Kevin.
Oh yeah, I can't even see this side chat.
Oh, Kevin's saying shoot. Now I'm humming It's a Small World on my way to the bathroom.
Oh, that's just mean. That's just mean.
but
It's a small world.
What's that, Kitty?
No, I was just gonna, like say when people were talking about like when Jen was talking about like she's proud of like her videos, like I have uploaded 2 videos to my channel that aren't actually like gaming recaps of my League of Legends games. One of them was only a minute long and it's actually gotten like 600, like it was 669 views when I checked it, which I
Nice.
was super excited about. And then the other one, I'm actually a little more like proud of, like, because like watching a 1-minute video is not that much of an investment, so but someone clicking on my other video, which was over an hour long and having almost 50 views on that when I just uploaded it like 2 days ago, like I'm super excited and happy about that.
That's awesome. That's
That
I've
is a
never
big
had a
difference.
video
That
that-
is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I agree.
What's that,
I've
Purple?
never had a video that reached 100 views in less than 3 months, so I'm giving you the finger on that one.
I wish I had any kind of
If I get like
motivation
20
for all of.
views, I'm celebrating with a 5th.
I mean, to be
Yeah, but
fair, though,
Purple-
they were about sewing. Like one of them, the short one, was a basic demonstration of how to make adjustable straps for a mask, the kind that go behind your ears. And it was a 1-minute video, so it's short
Cool.
and it's informative, and people are making masks. And the other one was an hour-long step-by-step of how to sew a mask in the style that I do, showing everything and
Cool.
all the steps along the way. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, like it's prescient, like right now, in that masks are part of our everyday lives. So that's probably why it got the views that it did as quickly as it did, because people are looking for those types of videos right now.
Yeah, but it's also good content if delivered properly. So that's really good. Well done on you. I like that.
Thank you.
I feel like people would not watch my videos unless I had dragons and like fire breathing stuff. Today we're talking about spectroscopy. Here's the dragon, and it's like, okay.
Well, they have to be fighting too.
Dragons fighting over spectroscopy. Here's the
chase
hydrogen dragon,
A chase
and
scene,
here's the
a helicopter
helium
crash scene.
dragon.
Exactly.
I
It's
do.
so
Go Michael
Godless.
Bay.
Godless, you're an asshole because I thought I had the angle on inviting Mel onto our show, and now you've made it so grandiose that I can never keep up to that, right? I'm fucked now.
just-
so thank you very
know,
much.
It's hard.
Always a pleasure. Always.
I don't
I
think
love you,
people
buddy.
understand how hard it is to make science interesting for people who do not care in the
Dude.
least bit. And it's like,
Dude, Mel, we have 12 people on our team who live and breathe that. And all we do is we want to bring education to people, but we do it in, very humoristic ways, right? Like our shows are all about humor and stuff. But we do try to do the debunk. Like Jenny Morgan here will tell you, it's a bit like movie night, but we focus less on the science and a bit more on the humor, right?
Okay. All I have to say is, did you ever watch the movie night where I called Hovend live? I called Kent Hovind live on my phone in the middle of a movie night stream.
Oh my God.
I pretended, I wasn't pretending. I actually have been a high school teacher, and I wanted to know his perspective regarding diversification of dinosaur species.
Wow.
So that was so fun. It's weird. It was weird, but it was fun.
I am so impressed right now. Would you care to get married? No, but seriously. That is... Oh my God!
I've called him twice while I was live streaming, and he took my calls both times.
Wow. He obviously doesn't have a lot in his life.
It actually happened the second time. Are you kidding me?
I was like, so the first time it was on a movie night, and Cy Strike, rest his soul, was alive at that time. Yeah. Cy Strike was alive at the time, and I was doing a fundraiser for Bullionator at the time.
Yeah, cool. Bull was one of my greatest friends. R.I.P. my friend. Oh, please continue. Oh, yeah.
So I was doing a fundraiser for him for that first movie night, and I was like, okay, so Kent Hovind has a 1-800 number. I'm going to call that right now because I have questions. So I called him, and he answered, and then I was like, okay, so I have questions, and I was wondering what your perspectives are on these things. And so he answered them. And then the second time I called was when I was doing a show with Doc Savage. Nate Brody was on at the time, and we were talking about creationism. As far as, the legal aspect of that. And I called Kent Hovind, and I wanted him to talk about a few other things. And he answered my call. And in the middle of the call, I'm like, he texted me, he's like, can you call back later? So he's like, I'm busy. Can you call? I'm like, okay. So I call him back later, and we have a conversation. So it was really
Crayolas.
It was strange. It was so strange. And so I kind of feel a little bit of weirdness because I felt like I wasn't being completely honest for the fact that I wasn't a high school biology teacher at the time, but I have been for at least 5 years. I'm teaching college chemistry now, but it was an interesting experience, and mostly just me trying to listen to what he had to say. And so that whole Kent Hovind experience was really, I don't remember where I was going with this. But
That must have been an eye-opening. That must have been an eye-opening experience, right? Oh, sorry.
I wasn't prepared for that. Sorry, I had to do it.
Do you want me to send you the links, Godless Comer?
Yeah, I was gonna say about I wouldn't worry about not being completely honest with him about whether you were teaching or not at the time, because he's claimed that he taught high school science for 15 years, which is complete bullshit. So I wouldn't worry too much.
Yikes.
I don't think he could teach a kid how to tie his shoes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust that guy. If he was a valet, I wouldn't trust him with my car keys. On site.
Are you kidding me?
On site.
If I had a fucking 6-foot in-ground pool, I wouldn't trust him to clean it. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my God. So
He looks like he drives a white van with no windows.
But I would trust him to clean up condoms from a movie theater. Like, he
oh
could do
my
that.
God. He probably has
To
on
bring
his
that
white
further
van.
back to what we were talking about before, do you think he gets down on his knees and prays to Jesus? at the
Hold on,
cross?
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Probably.
Hold on. Can we have Kitty's remark one more time, because that was the epitome of this piece of shit. Please.
No, I was saying that he's perfectly qualified to clean up used condoms from a movie theater.
I love it. No, we can continue.
I think you would probably have free candy here, right on the side of, depending on the neighborhood. It might be like an upper suburban mom area, so that might be wine. So
I live in wine country. I live in wine country.
Oh my gosh.
Wine moms are real. Wine moms
are
are
you
real.
saying?
Are we talking Pinot White? Or are we talking about?
We have wine stores.
What about the senior wines?
We have private wine stores here. They're like 7-Elevens. They're in every neighborhood. The wine moms are well represented up here.
Okay, so are we talking about slushy wines with the red, to where you can go into a 7-Eleven and get a proper slushy red wine?
Have you ever seen?
Guys, how Frank Zappa can this conversation be? Are you fucking
kidding me? I'm trying to
Zappa.
understand in case I need to move to California for reasons and science, of course.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
We don't have
soon.
in our stores. You can sell liquor and booze, so we have full aisles of wine.
But do you have slushies that are wine? Because that's important.
Yes.
Wine slushy.
I live in a vineyard area also in Traverse City, Michigan, and the difference is, when you go to these tastings at the vineyards and stuff, there's a lot of seniors that go there, and they have this wine just for seniors called Pinot Noir.
Did you just say Pinot Noir?
You would love
Pinot Noir.
No, but as far as the slushies, this is a real thing. At the minor league ballpark in St. Paul, they've got 2 slushy machines running for making margaritas, one for lime, one for strawberry.
That's important. This is where the real news is.
So no, you have to look up. There is.
Yeah.
Okay, so hear me out. There's a Taco Bell. No, listen.
Got you, Godless Sewing. I'm listening to every word you have to say right now.
There's a Taco Bell in Las Vegas.
I got you.
They have over 100 slushies on the wall.
Do they really?
Yes.
I need to go there right now.
You can eat tacos and get hammered all day.
See? These are my people.
It's the fanciest Taco Bell. It's so fancy. Like, you walk into it, they have it's the Taco Bell in Vegas is lit.
Okay. So
But it's the only one.
I promise you, babe, when you get to Australia, I'll let you eat taco and get hammered all day.
I love tacos.
Okay, I lived
You
in
can go to the museum and be art.
Don't ever threaten me with a great time.
I
You
lived
sick son of a bitches.
Wear a
God.
mask. Wear a mask so I can get out of this country. You know what? America's been trying to get rid of me for a long time. The one chance you have, I can't even leave my own country, and I can afford to do it.
Oh my
I still
God.
can't leave.
Okay, Godless Sewing.
America, listen to the brown man.
Okay, all I gotta say, the brown people got my back, because I'm gonna say I lived in Las Vegas nearly 3 years.
Okay.
I did. In In-N-Out Burger. That's my jam. I'm just
In-N-Out
saying.
Burger's the best.
Oh my God, In-N-Out Burger. I'm just saying.
I get a 2x4 whenever I go, because 4 slices of cheese is perfect for 2 meat patties.
Oh my
Were those burgers
God.
made out of
In-N-Out
belly buttons
Burger.
or something?
And so when
put
he
acid
talks
in 'em.
about Taco Bell with margaritas, I am so there, because you get some of that. And so, okay, so you have in Vegas, you have like the traditional strip where you have like Caesar's Palace, and you got all the other like Bellagio, and you have all of the pretty frills and stuff, and then you have Old Vegas, which is Fremont Street.
Yep.
You know what
I love that.
It gets me. I see you, man. I see you. So it's like, and then you go down this, like all the way down the way is the plaza, and they got the deep fried Twinkies, and you're like, man, I can't be handling this. None of this.
I will tell you though,
I'm gonna have to go in a sec.
No,
Jeff, as always.
Oh, well, I gotta go. It's too late for me. I'm fucking well.
You know, he has to go because
be nice.
Be nice. Give him a break, man. He's been up for a while. Got some.
Hey, he's one of my closest friends. He knows I'm fucking with him. Come on.
Before you go, Jeff, you have a stream coming up later, don't you?
I do, yes. It'd be 1 p.m. UK time today, so what's that, about 7 hours from now? I do. I've got my Asterisk stream coming up with Noodle, and then I'll probably be on. Then I'll probably be on Ring's stream just after that.
Jeff, your time is off. Daylight savings time happens tonight.
Oh,
for the U.S.
Yeah, that's right. You've got. It's still 1 p.m. UK time though. Our clocks don't go forward for another week or so.
Yeah, you guys are confusing.
2 weeks. There's going to be 2 weeks between when the US does it and when the UK does it. It's going to screw up all the time zones.
I hate those 2 weeks. Oh, my God. With the shills and everybody from around the globe, does it fuck my shit up? I hate those 2 weeks. Fuck you.
I think it's safe to say that Dick is very angry right now.
Yeah. I hate those 2 weeks.
I don't see any reason that, one government or the other can't straighten this out, so we at least do it at the same time. I mean, we should quit doing it all together, but...
Yeah! At least, Purple, if it was all in sync, it wouldn't matter. But when you're trying to organize the shills with people all over the fucking globe, oh my God, I hate this bullshit.
I think Dick needs some buttered toast. Yeah. Somebody give him some buttered toast.
Oh, when this stream's over, I'm going to heat up my pizza from yesterday, eat some mozzarella sticks.
Anyway, I'll see you later, guys.
All right, Jeff, we'll talk to you later. And don't forget, everybody, to go. The links for everybody is down in the descriptions. Go and sub and follow everyone.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry, Jen. Everything's a nightmare.
Everybody. That's why I'm the designated driver.
Yeah,
everybody should listen to Mel because she leads everybody over to my fucking twisted bullshit, and that's not bad,
I don't know if you should listen to me because some people think I'm like a super villain.
Well,
you know what?
We've been going for basically 3 hours, so I think we might start winding down, given that Jeff's just gone, and we'll let people do their own shillings and that.
Hold on, Jen. Please let me just do this one. Mel with the whole. Some people think blah blah. You know what? I can't wait to have you on our show to show those fucking people how much I fucking care. You know what? Can I turn on my camera? Here, is the camera on? Can you see how much I care? Can you see right there? It's right there. It's right there. Can you see?
There's a tiny violin. There's a tiny violin that's like playing music. So I don't know, Dick.
Yeah, everybody that actually gives a rat's ass about that, they're the people I don't fucking like. So let's get together and have some fucking fun. All right?
Oh my goodness. I feel some edgelords since stuff going on right now.
So given that Dick's already on a roll, why don't you tell everybody what the shows are up to in the next week?
Oh, I actually have no idea. What we do is we get together, we go live, and we debunk the worst fucking unbelievable woo-peddling motherfuckers you've ever seen in your lives, and we have the best time doing it. So show up. hang out, puff in, take a drink. Oh, and it's so good. You'll love what we got. All right.
Yeah. Mel, what have you got coming up later on? Because you've got your stream with Mero in the next 24 hours, haven't you?
Well, I've taken a break because my job has been quite demanding.
So Jen doesn't know what she's talking about, you see. I'm stupid.
Right. So I usually stream on Saturday mornings, U.S. time, 10 a.m. Central. And then in the evenings on Sunday, 6 p.m. Central normally. But the world is on fire. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm trying to help people get out of poverty. So it's really hard right now.
Well, Mel, you do realize that you would get a better audience if you didn't always stream when people are trying to sleep off their hangover.
That is true as well. I recognize that. So I'm currently working with PZ Myers and other individuals to try to make science more accessible through openstacks.org. So I will be...
Mel, what you need to do is you need to have a Saturday night silly science show where you just hang out, have fun, tell jokes, and throw in a little piece of science here and there.
You know, I might do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
or just find absurd science news articles.
Since you're the only person who doesn't get demonetized when you sing, you should sing too.
template
And I'm going to tell you why.
Mel the science gal.
Exactly. Twice I was on stream with Stool, and it was shut down in midstream. I mean, midstream. But Mel can sing.
I'm still standing better than I ever did.
That was Billy. That was Billy, and that was a good fucking call, Mel. I love it. I'm still standing better than I ever did. I love it.
Living like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. Anyway,
that was good, baby. That was good.
So I'm working with other professors across the country to develop open education resources. I'm writing a grant for that currently to help people understand chemistry better. Because the world, I'm just going to gesture everywhere, the world and stuff. So, Saturday mornings, I tend to have my show, The Science Of. I'm taking a bit of a break because the pandemic, the world's on fire. I'm trying to help people that are close to me with stuff that's going on, and I want to help them be successful. So I'm making certain I don't spread myself too thin, which is a thing that happens. So that if you like the stuff that I do, you can check out all of the different shows that I've had. I do have shows that I do from time to time on Sunday night with Mero, also known as Nervardia, who is in Australia. She and I have done fantastic shows.
She is awesome.
Debunking all kinds of stupid pseudoscience.
Mero is so much fun.
It's wonderful. And you go back further, you can check out my shows with Doc Savage on Oral Audacity. He recently came back to my show on Saturday mornings to help talk about the COVID-19 vaccine because he worked on that.
Can I give a Billy on that? If you have not heard Doc Savage, you have got to get to Mel's show and see Doc Savage. The man is brilliant. Just beyond brilliant.
He's one of my closest friends, and I love him with my heart. So it's wonderful.
I told him I want to have his babies.
Well, you have my blessing.
And by the way,
There you go.
just as an aside, if you're all in the Doc Savage realm, he's recently taken a position. And one of the things that I do from time to time is if he gets a really important job, I'll send him a thing, whether it's in the form of a letter or a t-shirt. So he's going to help develop a division in Europe for a U.S. company. And
no way.
Yeah, he's been cited at least 500 times because he has a Nature paper. He's helped develop the HPV vaccine. He worked on the COVID-19 vaccine. And so
that's incredible.
But he's one of my friends. And so I've sent him a t-shirt to where it says he's the European Director of Important Things.
Wow.
So he'll be in charge of that and be moving soon to.
Wow.
He's in the Netherlands. He'll be moving to another location in about 4 months. But
I am so impressed that it pisses me off. You know what I mean? You know.
I forget. I have wonderful. To be fair, I have wonderful friends that do things, and I forget.
You're damn
what
right.
it is. I forget what it is that they can do, and I'm like, they're just my buddies. So,
Well, Mel, I can't wait to have you on the show. It's coming up soon. We're going to do it. And all that bullshit, well, people are going to see what bullshit is really about. Let's fucking do this. Let's have a great time and hang out. I almost feel like I'm doing the I gotta shut up right now because Jen's gonna kill me fucking host thing, and but I'm kind of used to that. So sorry, Jen. Fuck, I'll shut up now. Sorry, Jen.
Goodness.
You've gone full Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
I love it.
You're taking control there.
I'm sorry, Jen. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
We all know what you're like, Dick.
Oh
Randy,
my goodness!
It's why we call you Dick.
Randy,
What?
what have you got coming up?
Well, let's see. On Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have Shedding Mysticism, and this is open topic. So if any of you scientific type want to go in there and say, here's a stupid myth, and then debunk it, that would be awesome. And Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have Live with a Harmonica Man, and I generally talk about music and things like that. Today we talked about favorite concerts when we were kids and doing crazy shit. So it was pretty fun. And also I'm trying to, I got to get a hold of the Lavender Lady. I'm going to try to start something, see if I can't.
I love
get
her stream. My
help.
God.
Lovely.
Yeah.
She's
she's got her shit going on. Oh yeah.
Well, we come up with something the other day, a bunch of us, about this late at night too. I'm always challenging people to a shine off, and who's got the shiniest bald head for the night. So it turned into, maybe we should do a charity. I think Purple suggested
Cheating.
it. And then the next day I thought, you know what? I know somebody who could really use some help, and it's actually a life or death situation. And that's a Lavender Lady. She could use some help getting her dialysis. And, if we get to a certain amount or whatever, certain people will shave their head partially or fully. I'm not going to mention names, but and I can give, like over $50 or $25, whatever, free music lessons, harmonic lessons, whatever. And I'd like everybody else to join in too and do stuff like that. And then we all have Twitters. We all have, other things going on. I have a store that I do some of my music videos at. That said, oh yeah, put your poster up here and everything, and we'll actually advertise it on our website and stuff like that too. So, and but you got to come and do a concert in front of our store. It's okay. Yeah.
You know,
I love
Randy-
playing. So
Randy, I'll put the shills on that fucking thing right now. We'll do a guaranteed lesson on how
Well,
to do
hold
a
up.
live show, you know. And I have OBS and whatnot as my bitch. Everybody here will tell you, you know, I will put that on the fucking line right now. I will offer that up.
well, I haven't even talked to Diana yet about it. I've emailed her, but she has a hard time getting to her mails or emails or anything like that. I got to remind her. So I don't know. I'll talk to her on her show tomorrow. I'll have her get a hold of me right away and see if I can even get the permission from her to help her out.
Well,
And then,
you know,
these
dude,
are just the ideas I've been storming
Yeah.
around the past couple of days, and I know if we come together and then get other people in the periphery,
no.
you know, not just
I
us,
would
I'm pretty
love
sure
to
we
be-
can get a pretty good thing going.
I would love to help, and I went to audio engineering school back in the day, and blah blah blah. And trust me, I get the front of social media. I get this stuff. You know,
What's that, Burp?
I can tell you now that
yeah.
getting Diana to let you help her is going to be the hardest part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diana does.
Yeah, she's a
not
soldier.
like
I
people
can
helping
appeal to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So Purple, what have you got coming up?
Not too much planned. That do my regular streams Wednesday at noon and Thursday at midnight Central Time. Just kind of casual hangouts with people, and on the shills most Friday nights.
Awesome.
Always on the shills. Purple is a shill. Come on.
Purple's one of our favorite people.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite people. So yeah, I understand that one very well, Jen.
Yeah.
Well, Will's become kind of my informal co-host on my chats, and since he's been hanging around in there, we've actually been getting better viewership, so people are following him
Will's
around.
Just eye candy, that's why.
Oh,
Jenny.
thanks.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say something dirty. You stop me. Go right ahead.
I'll stop you. I will let
Keep it
Jen,
decent.
What have you got coming up?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Nothing.
Are you
In fact, after tonight, I think I'm going to resign and just stop doing this altogether.
Oh, don't you dare. We love you. Don't you dare disappear.
Now, this is getting boring. I'm just done. There's nothing interesting happening tonight.
Fair enough.
Nobody was funny. Nobody had any insights. Nobody told any jokes. You know.
Why did Jenny cross? Okay,
Jen,
okay.
goodbye.
Wow, I am amazed you said that with a straight face.
Why did Jenny cross the
Master
road?
sarcasm.
Why?
To get to the others. I'm not creative, and I'm sorry, Jenny, that I'm not more creative.
Don't put this on you. This is Dick's fault.
I got a
is
joke
totally
similar to that. The
Dick's
kitty
fault.
probably
Let's
won't
blame
understand.
Yeah,
Dick
it's always
for
your
this.
fault. You know
How
that.
did I
It
fucking
is
do
his
this?
fault. We're
If
gonna
there's a-
blame Dick for this.
If there's a dick in the room, it's the Dick's fault.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
we should go with South Park. Blame Canada. You know what I mean?
I've had that song stuck in
Canada.
my head all night now.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Well, you know, I was
Now I have
gonna,
it stuck in my head.
I was gonna invite scientist Mel to our show, but now, I'm not so sure. You know.
I don't want to offend the Canadians. I'm still trying to get sanctuary. I'm hoping to get them to annex the upper Midwest, but if they won't do that, I just need somebody to grant me sanctuary if I row across Lake Superior.
You should scream sanctuary, sanctuary.
Jen, I think you need to revisit tonight's topic. It got
I would like to
way too
revisit tonight's
early.
topic with
Only a couple hours ago.
as part of a panel with yourself and me and a couple of other trans people and support people where we can actually talk about it just from a trans issue, because I think that's a discussion that needs to be set all on its own, separate from just talking about gatekeeping.
You know, Jen, Jen, if you do that conversation live, please invite me to it because I would love to be the Canadian perspective on that. Please, please.
The smell.
I mean, you know me, Jen. I'm, for the love of God, everybody can be themselves. I only praise that, but I would love to be the Canadian that goes, yeah, we don't all do the boot and whatnot. You know what I mean? Please give me that. Give me that.
But
give me
I have
that.
an
Give me
important
that.
question.
Give me
now.
that.
Do you watch hockey?
Give me
do
that.
You
give
watch
me that. Give
hockey?
me that.
Hey, Hoser. Hey, Hoser. Do you watch hockey, Hoser? Do you watch hockey?
No, I don't actually.
Well, you're not Canadian. Then.
All right, I'm gonna go.
He's
Good night, everyone.
Okay, good night, Randy.
A pretend Canadian. He's pretend.
I don't do Canadian sports because I've got better things to do. I've got a 13-year-old autistic child that I raise.
This sounds like a bunch of excuses. I'm just saying.
I know why Dick
you
is like
fucking
this.
kidding me? Get the redhead out of the room. I've had enough of her already.
Of course you have.
Right, quick.
Because it's
mute Dick so other people could talk.
I'm just kidding, honey. Come on.
I know why Dick is like this. Amy Hogan has stolen all of his apologies because she apologizes twice as much as a normal person should.
Yeah. You know, Purple, I love you, but you're a son of a bitch, man.
I'm not the person with a green screen behind me just asking for all kinds of different versions of, I don't know, abuse.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually have the green screen behind me because we've been working towards a show, like a talk show, where I get to do the Johnny Carson thing. And we have been working towards it to the point where I was not willing to let that show go on our channel until it was ready to go properly. And, that's a funny gag, I'll give you that one, right? Because it's pretty funny, but it actually has no basis in reality because we really, really, really set our sights. We do not
Hopefully nobody will abuse this entire video to take your image.
It's gonna happen.
And put it in front of, I don't know, questionable porn or anything else associated with that. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to throw out ideas.
Stool and Peter know us. It's going to happen. You know it will.
Oh, Peter is my stalker. Yeah. It's funny. Peter stalks me more than he stalks Mel. So Peter
are we
definitely
talking about Peter gonna go for it?
Yeah, we are.
He stalks me.
I
so
love
much.
him though. He makes so many wonderful things for my channel.
He stalks me just as much as he stalks you. I hope
he's actually been a very nice person and helped me as a friend. So it's like
just be careful. If you two were in the same room, he put a chain on your ankle.
I think I could go for the throat, and it would be okay. I think I could handle my own. And Doc Savage is my friend. He's part of my tribe, so he could probably go find Peter and do things if I really, really asked him to in nice words.
Okay, Kitty didn't get her turn to show yet.
Hey, Kitty, what have you got coming up?
Coming up, I'm not entirely sure. I was actually thinking about doing another video. Like I said earlier, I have 2 videos out on my channel right now regarding mask sewing, but I was actually thinking about doing something, this week. I'm not sure what just yet, but something, because it was a lot of fun putting together a video and getting it out there. And, I got an official video, so I'm officially a YouTuber now.
Awesome.
But, Yeah, aside from that, I'm not really sure. I did want to say, Jen, maybe we could do a fundraiser stream for you.
Okay, Tuesday night, Godless Granny is doing a fundraiser stream for me in place of her normal stream. If anyone who doesn't know what I'm fundraising for, I'm actually moving house. I have got a new house that's in a town that's close to where I grew up with, where a lot of my family are. And I'm raising funds to help pay for the shifting because I tried to do some of the stuff myself and I'm having to do most of it on my own, and I actually hurt myself in the process of it. So I'm like, I'm going to need the help. I don't have the money to pay to the removalists at the moment and that. So I'm just trying to raise the money. It's going to be between $1,100 and $1,500 that they're moving, which is a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm just raising the money for that. The reason why I'm having to do most of it on my own is I actually live with my brother who's, at the moment, he's suffering from liver disease, and cirrhosis of the liver, and he is physically incapable of doing any of this at the moment, and that's leaving it mostly to me. I do have some family in Perth that can help with some things, and of course family in Albany, but I'm moving to Mount Barker, which is 50 kilometres from there, so weekends are the only time I can really get people to come and help and stuff. And organising that so that you could rent a truck and get people at both ends to load a truck with fridges and freezers and things like that is just not going to happen. And I can't do it just me. It's not possible. So I'm putting out the fundraiser. So far I've raised $590 in the last few weeks. And basically I will be ending the fundraiser at the end of Easter, the Easter long weekend. So it doesn't actually say that on the website at the moment, but I will end it then because we're shifting in like a few days after that. I've actually booked the shift, but hopefully I'll have enough money to pay for it at the time. If I don't, I will have to beg, borrow, and plead from my family, which I don't really want to have to do. But there's a fundraiser there if anybody thinks they can help out. It's the pinned top tweet on my Twitter. So if anyone who hasn't helped out feels they can help out, it's there. But Tuesday night there's a fundraising stream on Godless Granny's channel, and we're not doing a What the Fuck show next weekend because I will be away. I'm assuming Will probably do his own stream, but I'll be away.
Yeah, now that I know what I'm doing, kind of.
But the Easter is the weekend after that. Whichever weekend is the Easter long weekend, we will probably do a What the Fuck Show Easter special, which I'll also do as like a final fundraiser stream
March 4th
for myself.
Ooh,
so that's what
if you want, and like, cause when you said it was going to be on Gigi's channel, then I was like, oh darn, there goes my idea. I figured you could do one of your naked science videos as part of the fundraiser, and I'll totally be on naked. I don't care. Like, if it will help raise you money, I'll come on naked.
Fun.
Wow.
Give zero fucks.
Naked science.
Naked
Please wear eye protection.
Yeah, I'm so white. So is Kitty.
I think we get this
Jennifer,
promoted on a
if you
few
make some money, I'll do
channels.
some crop shots.
1,500 certainly a reasonable goal.
Oh my goodness. Please wear eye protection on Naked Science because I don't want you to lose your vision. I'm like, okay, nothing's worth that.
No, Kitty, what we do is we do naked, but we put face masks over our boobs, and we say, because you have to wear masks.
You put masks on your boobs.
I'm down. I will sew Ariel like I will make it look like Ariel's little fucking seashells. I will do purple and
oh my
I got
goodness.
This. I got this.
Jen, if you can promise me anonymity, I'll give you some crotch shots.
Wow.
Well, your anonymity is gone now.
Yeah, I gotta say
promise I'll show you a little bit of crotch shots, but don't say that's me.
I'll show you some ankle.
But no, if you wanted to try to do one of those, and if you wanted me to show up naked, I will for you.
I will show up
that
naked
like
for
a
lot
you.
Of fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. We should,
especially if it's to help raise some money.
Yeah, we should do a you're talking about the Stump Gen streams I do, where we take questions and we talk about science on them. Yeah, we should do an all female Stump Gen where we'll do naked science. And
naked
Stump Gen really
science.
becomes a euphemism.
Oh my goodness, you guys are braver than I.
You've seen, Mel, I've already done naked videos. So.
No, it's just from the cleavage
I
up.
can't do it. I can't.
It's all
do
about
it.
camera angles, so you don't
It's
like
all about
get pulled
camera
off
angles,
YouTube.
yeah. So basically, it's like you have a strapless dress on. You don't. They don't really see
Oh my
anything. Although I
God.
must admit, my masturbation video shows a
No,
little bit more than
but
that.
I feel like if I were to say I'm doing naked science with a strapless dress on, but am I doing?
Well, you're a
naked
teacher.
science?
You probably shouldn't do that. A teacher
You
in a
know,
southern
I
state, you could get
just
in lots of trouble.
Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so like I could have an OnlyFans and nobody can say shit.
unless you're at a Catholic school.
We'll
Because
have to talk about that.
that garbage. Oh my god.
Saw that.
Oh my god. I can't deal with people.
But yeah, let me know, Jen, if you don't meet the goal, before you do the what the fuck final shebang fundraiser, we'll try to squeeze something in there and have some fun with it, because I want to get you to that goal.
Hopefully I will get there, so I'm hopeful of it. I mean, like I said, I haven't really pushed it apart from on Twitter, and it's already at $590, nearly $600, so I think it'll get there, but it's just going to take a bit of time, but yeah.
Once the Biden bucks come in, I will chip some over to you. I'm waiting on that check to come in.
Man, y'all pray to Biden that he
oh Lord
cancels student debt, because that would be really great.
It's literally been shown that he has the executive power to just nullify it completely, but he chooses not to.
So amazing if he could get rid of any kind of that.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find the resources I saw about that, because I was looking into it because I was curious. I mean, like, I had student loan debt, but it was only like $1,200 because it was, I took out a loan for a semester at a community college. So, and that was before I realized that my disability was going to keep me from really being able to focus and, get around to class and everything. So it was negligible compared to what others have. So like I've got medical debt on par with Mel's student loan debt. So I know the pain. It's just a slightly different pain.
Yeah, fair enough.
But honestly, like I said, I forget where it was, but I was digging into it, and he literally does have the executive authority to completely eradicate all student debt. But he said he will not do it.
Oh my
at
god!
all.
Just
I didn't really think he could do it alone. I'd have to see what you saw, but I didn't think he could do it alone. I thought it would have to go through Congress.
Yeah, I would have thought
no,
the amount of money.
According to what I was reading, it would not have to go through Congress. According to what I was reading.
Oh my god! I'm gonna have to turn Jean Grey and all this and go Dark Phoenix. I feel like
Constitution says the House of Representatives is responsible for all financial dealings for the United States. I just can't believe that he can do that.
He probably could do a small amount of it, because there's a certain amount of stuff that the president can do without having approval. But as far as cancelling all of it, he could probably make a legislation to cancel interest.
No, the president cannot make any legislation. He can only suggest legislation to the Congress.
Okay, so that it would.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, let's not talk about it now. We're winding up.
Don't have the most.
So, what have you got going?
Fearsome says he's already got the 1,400.
Yeah, they said it's supposed to be out this weekend.
Oh,
yeah, it should be coming this
everything
weekend.
sucks, and I'm dying. It's like
So, hi, I'm Godless Sewing from the Godless Sewing channel. Everybody should go down to the Godless Sewing channel and subscribe to Godless Sewing. Right now, when I get enough patience, I'm editing a video right now. So when I stop acting like a wiener from the suburbs and stop crying about the fact that I own a Mac and it's complicated, the video will be put out. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. Don't buy a Mac.
I love you immediately. I'm just
every Thursday, Jen and I do the What the Fuck show.
Except for this week,
it's amazing.
Kitty
was there.
You?
Kitty was there for the inaugural Godless Sewing stream, and we actually talked about sewing, so it was relevant and it was on topic. So it was amazing. So you guys should all go back and watch that stream too on the Godless Sewing channel. And as always, because I stole Kitty's line, wear a mask and don't be a dick.
Okay, I feel like I need to adopt Godless Sewing for reasons.
Will is amazing. I want to thank you all for being our guests this week. Everybody who's here, who's still here now, and everybody else who's been in before, like Dick and Randy and Jeff and my brains can't remember who else we had on because it was many people. Kevin,
Dick.
I said Dick. Who else was on? You're all
everybody
who was
in the world.
Wonderful. This has been a fun show, even though it's gone way off topic. But I've enjoyed it, and regardless. Thank you to everybody who's actually sat through the entire show, because I know there's at least a couple of people who did.
Oh,
and
one more
everybody who's
thing.
in and
One
out,
more
and
thing.
anybody
Sorry.
who watches it back later, please like.
I completely
and subscribe.
forgot. One more thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I switched to my jerseys and no one noticed, but I bat for both teams. That was the whole point of me switching jerseys. I completely forgot. It's been a long stream.
He's
been-
bye.
And my jersey
Bye,
is girly.
everyone. So yeah, thank you all
Bye-bye.
again, and bye.
And go get a girly jersey.
Oh my.